There we are. There we are. Hey, look at that. 8 o'clock on the nose. Even though John showed up with 3 minutes to spare.
See?
Which is earlier than usual.
Yeah, exactly. So you don't need that much time.
It's earlier than usual. Welcome to Talking Heads, everyone. Episode 117, your once weekly live show for the latest in beer and tech news. I'm Jeff.
I'm John.
Welcome to the show, everybody. How's it going tonight? If you have never seen the show before, we stream once per week every Wednesday night at 8 p.m. Pacific time.
Yes.
We do drink beer on the show.
Sorry.
Qualifier. I don't know that we can call it that today. We do drink alcohol on the show, although we keep the content friendly in both language and content. So if you have little ones running around, they're more than welcome to stay up. If there's anything that goes a little bit blue, we usually save that towards the end with lots of wording. We do about 20 minutes of beer news, about an hour and 20 minutes of tech news, and then whatever we want to talk about, which is probably going to be recapping Picard Episode 1.
Yep. Then it's probably going to be like that way for the next 7 weeks.
Yep. Give or take. Give or take. So, anyway, and again, we'll announce spoilers beforehand. Let us know what you are drinking over in the chat tonight. We will give some early show shout-outs here. And doesn't have to be alcoholic. Can be water, Gatorade, can be
tea, coffee,
whatever the bloody heck this is. God, I hate you right now.
Come on, I'm just sharing love.
I hate you right now. You even pour it in a glass?
I mean, actually, I am curious of the color because yours was clear. And mine had a pink hue.
Yeah.
So.
All right. Well, get some glassware out here. So how's everyone doing tonight?
But hey, you'll be having yours before Bite My Bits.
That's true.
So you're already ahead of the Bud Light curve.
It's not a curve I want to be in front of.
Oh, Scott's having Two-Hearted.
Nice.
Is that the double Two-Hearted? Jameson?
Rev says, oh God, I don't need to announce those. Rev is filling in for Skull for the normal announcing of whatever beer we're drinking tonight.
Oh, look, this is clear.
And yeah, I'd rather there be no record of this one.
Oh, come on. Ooh, well, that...
Literally, as soon as I cracked it, I could smell it.
You know what, like,
I
really
hadn't even
bad
opened it yet.
Peach schnapps smells like?
Yeah.
That's what this smells like.
Yeah, I mean,
Smell that.
Smell it.
It's a much higher air.
Oh, wow, yeah.
Do you have
I
it?
do.
Oh, yeah, look right there in the back. There it is. It's basically the same smell.
Yeah, it is. It's the exact same smell.
Oh, gosh. It is.
HRD peach schnapps. It's basically a carbonated version of that.
Yeah.
So.
That's probably why it's 6% versus the 5.
Yeah. Did they just add seltzer water to peach schnapps?
Probably.
Yeah.
Like they probably they partnered with HDR and just said, okay, what are the flavors you have? Okay, let's just add it to seltzer.
I love that you keep confusing tech marijuana and beer names and liquor names.
Oh yeah.
HRD, not HDR. HDR is high dynamic range. HTC is not the hallucinogen in marijuana. They make cell phones in a headset.
Whatever.
He always gets them wrong.
Did I?
Yeah.
Okay.
You said HDR.
Oh yeah.
HRD.
HDR. Whatever.
HTC.
And I haven't even drank yet.
Is the butt, yeah. Welcome to the show, everyone.
What a way to start.
Big Spoon, Jack Winter Blend. You know, if I don't like this, I'm probably going to switch over to that. God, this smells awful. This smells like I'm 17 and stole like wine coolers from my mom.
You know, the at least for the other one, the black cherry that I had, there wasn't a whole lot of flavor. But it was the aftertaste that I didn't like. It still had that Bud Light aftertaste.
This is like some of those really, really cheap, like Walmart and Safeway brand carbonated waters.
Yes.
The flavored carbonated waters. In that there is absolutely no flavor here. I mean, there is so much strawberry aroma to this, but then you taste it and it's like gone, and the only like flavor left is like that CO2 bitterant.
Yeah, there's like this. It just dries on your tongue.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's pretty much it.
It's awful. This is awful.
And you still got a lot left.
I only poured myself the half glass. I don't know that I'm going to finish this.
Oh, come on.
I don't know that.
I thought this was Talking Heads.
It is.
You have standards.
Mm-hmm.
What if you could water cool with this? And what if we made it flat?
Probably be easier than Bud Light. Yeah, that's awful. I liked the White Claw legitimately.
Actually, oh my gosh, the aroma on that is strong.
It's like walking through Bed Bath & Beyond.
Oh,
I told you, it's awful.
that one is, man. That's worse than the cherry.
I told you. Don't patronize me
This
and like,
one,
oh, just
try that one.
See, I don't like peach all that much.
Well, it's better than that. Not by much.
That is better. That is better. But this is just horrible.
That is horrible.
Yeah.
I agree to that.
Thank you. Sitting there going, oh, just man up and drink. Oh, God, that sucks. Yeah, come on. Come on. All right. I've been 21. It's been lit. Favorite duo on tonight. Thank you, Nick. Most clear drink ever probably on the show.
Next to vodka.
We've had vodka before.
Yeah.
And
gin.
We've done vodkas and gins and cocktails and stuff like that. We might be breaking into that. I like White Claw. No, I said I liked the White Claw better. That's
the White Claw. Boom.
Do not take my quotes out of context. Do not take my quotes out of context, Sybil.
Someone soundbite that quick.
Oh man. With some Geo Juice Blackberry Ginger Gose.
Ooh.
From Ten Tort. Nice.
Is that what that's probably
you should have just gone with Four Loko. At least the stuff is 14%. They can't sell the good Four Lokos in Oregon.
Yeah.
Because there's regulations on including the herbal stimulants with beer.
Yeah. They are coming out though with the 14 and 12% seltzer. They are out there.
Yes.
I've been looking for it.
Yeah, so have I.
Just to try it.
Does John hate himself every time he's on? It's the only explanation. No, John likes to make me suffer.
Yes.
That's what this is. Because every time I go to John's house, it's like, oh, let me open that 17% mead you've got.
Yeah, exactly. Or whatever. Oh, it's a $25 bottle of beer.
Yeah.
That's okay. Let's open up another one.
Yeah. Every time I go to John's, I'm opening like the Fremont Blue Label.
Yeah, it's really expensive stuff.
Yeah. So this is his payback.
Yes.
He likes to make me suffer with malt liquor.
It's broadening your horizon. This is low calorie.
I'm gonna try it one more time.
Oh, that one's.
I'm gonna try it one more time.
Like.
Nope, I'm out.
That one. Yeah.
I'm out. No, I can't do it. Nope. I'm done.
This has got a shark on it.
Show's over. Go home. I'm done.
Mango and peach. I don't know. I'll see what I can get through.
Okay. Let me get an actual beer on this show. Lord.
I mean, this is Natty Light.
Yeah.
I was trying to get you sponsorship.
I've got a chocolate peanut butter porter.
Okay.
I hate you right now. I hate you. So this one was sent in by Novella Hub over on my Discord. This is Laconia Brewing out of Minnesota. American style flavored porter with a twist. It's a chocolate peanut butter porter. 6.4%, 24 IBU. Looks like that. I saw this one come out of the box, and this is probably the first one that I wanted to try.
Yeah.
So, does Craft Computing have any wine in the house? I do indeed. I've got a couple bottles of wine in the house.
You a red guy or a white guy? Or?
I can go either way, honestly. I do really appreciate a good red, especially a port. Mm-hmm. A much darker, woodier,
yes,
kind of thing. Although there's we also live in the Willamette Valley, which is very well known for their wines. There's a winery less than 2 miles from my house, and they make a phenomenal Pinot Grigio, and it's so good.
Oh yeah, no, that's what my wife's into right now, PJ. So we have a lot of Pinot Grigios sparkling, non-sparkling, just extra dry ones, sweet ones. So.
Yeah, Scotty says, I think so. I think Mrs. Kraft is the wine drinker. She does enjoy a good glass of wine every once in a while. She's not exactly a wino. I do have family that are very, very into wine, though. So we like to go out to like nice Italian restaurants and crack a couple of bottles with them.
I mean, there's just certain food that like, okay, beer's great and all, but a good glass of wine kind of just goes like a fish.
Yeah.
Like that.
Yeah, but I'm very much like a port or, blending into the cognacs and brandies and really, really appreciate that flavor profile.
That's good.
Oh, that smells good.
It's really good. If you like peanut butter.
That's a Dairy Queen peanut butter parfait.
That basically is, yeah.
That's exactly what that is. A little bit darker. A little bit darker chocolate. But it's got that raw peanut flavor.
Yes, it really tastes like I took a handful of raw peanuts and just threw it in my mouth and chugged a porter.
And left the
oil.
The oil in the shell and went, it's so good.
Oh, yeah.
That's a good beer.
That is a good beer.
Why can't you bring this? Why can't you bring this?
Technically, I did bring something like that last time.
You did.
We just didn't drink it.
That's true. That's very true.
Yeah. No, a lot of times we see porters there. They usually have like coffee or stuff in the porters or stouts. Then that's usually the typical one. So it's really nice to see like a chocolate peanut butter porter.
Yeah, I'm seeing if I missed any other quick shout outs. Liftbridge Fireside Flannel Brown Ale from Novella Hub. Let's see. Jeff, did you lose a fantasy football bet? No, I just have bad friends.
Someone's drinking Piney the Elder.
Yeah, I did see the Pliny come up.
Pliny.
Yep.
Yeah.
Harry's drinking Pliny the Elder. Yep. Switchboard operator collaboration between Trillium and Firestone Walker.
Ooh.
I like those names. Drinking a Mango Blonde from St. George and an IPA from 19 Crimes. Very cool. All right, I think I got most of them. If I missed you, I apologize.
Yeah.
Just yell at me.
But yeah, stouts and porters. I mean, they usually are more of a chocolate or coffee and chocolate flavor. This is definitely peanut butter.
Peanut butter. Peanut butter and dark cocoa.
Oh
is
yeah.
What this is.
Yes. And but there's another company that's kind of doing a coffee thing.
Yes.
There is actually one of our personal favorite companies.
Jameson Irish Whiskey is coming out with I've got to find this and I've got to try it.
Oh yeah.
They're coming out with a cold brew whiskey. Oh yes.
Oh yes.
Oh yes, I want this.
This is basically
I want
just
this so bad.
Irish coffee in a bottle.
Yes.
At 45%.
Which is funny because did you try the coffee rum that I have?
No, I don't think I have.
You haven't tried the Kraken coffee?
No. That was Steve.
Yeah, okay. I couldn't remember if I had it 2 weeks ago or if it was just last week. No. We'll give you a little snifter. Yeah.
No, but Jameson they did the cask makes.
Yes.
Which were really good. They did a stout and then they did an IPA.
Yep.
I want to take the stout and now I have a coffee stout.
Oh yeah.
Whiskey.
Ooh. I like where your head's at right now. I do. But this will be available soon. Did they say?
Actually, I think it was last week.
Yeah.
I thought it was
close.
January 25th.
Okay.
So
yeah, it was
just a couple days ago. You can actually if you go to the link in the description, there's even a place that says where you can find it.
Mm-hmm.
And then there's even a website that'll sell it to you, and it's going for the same price as about $35.
Yeah, the $35.
$35.
Yeah.
So it's not like it's a rare limited release gonna be $50-$60. No, it's gonna be a standard like you see all the other specialty Jamesons.
Yep.
So
next week.
Oh, that's what I was.
That's right.
I was already going through the notes. I was like, I'm searching. Dang it, I gotta go through the notes.
Yep. Coffee rum, yummy, and Jameson cold brew drool. Yeah, Becky says that. I got the Kraken limited edition coffee rum, and oh my god, it's a blackstrap rum with espresso in it, and it's every bit of that. I think I've gone through about a quarter of it already.
You got it a week ago,
and I haven't mixed it with anything. I've just been taking little snifters every once in a while. It's just so good.
Jeff's using an espresso cup for his morning coffee, and it's just cracking.
It's just
Macho.
cracking a little steamed milk in the espresso machine. There we go. So everyone knows of like support animals and whatnot, and you know those are definitely have a lot of therapeutic benefits for a lot of different people for a lot of different ailments. There's also people who find comfort in you know friends or certain foods or listening to music or you know whatever your vice is.
Something to help you cope.
Yeah. John, have you been in Brooklyn recently?
No, but I kind of want to go. Now that I saw this.
You know, because I want to check your license to make sure you're not actually moving to Brooklyn. Just to verify this is indeed you.
Yes, I thought this. Well, this man is now like my spirit animal, basically, or I should say, his emotional support animal is my spirit animal.
That's right. That's right.
So a man named Floyd in Brooklyn has registered his beer as his support animal. Mm-hmm. So now, so that he can take a pint of beer with him wherever he goes on public transportation.
Yep. Yep. And that's the long and short of it.
Yeah.
So by who is the regulator for
animal control or
no, not animal control, but assisted handicap.
Yeah.
There's a government regulation that I'm drawing a blank on it right now. But basically, just like you can register a service animal to help you on public transit, and then businesses have to recognize that service animal is allowed to be there regardless of their regulations. So I can take a service animal to a restaurant or walk it through Walmart or do whatever else. He now has those same rights and privileges with a pint of beer in his hand.
Yes.
If he gets on a city bus, he can crack open an IPA and sit there and sip on that and go, oh, no, sorry, this is providing me emotional support.
Yep, I need emotional support. Now, technically, they stated that, so he said he was doing this as just a joke, just to see if he could get away with it.
Yeah.
Wasn't trying to be like, oh, I really need support and I'm an alcoholic. Mm-hmm. He kind of just wanted to do it for fun, and he was surprised that he was able to do it on the website and register his beer. But then, after people started looking into it, the newspaper article stated technically you got to actually have medical reasoning behind this for it to be allowed. But he said that technically no one stopped him. Yep. And so he's gonna keep going until someone stops him. And he's been asked a few times, but he just pulls the card out and they're like, oh, okay, that's it.
Big Big Spoon, $2 donation, 3. Okay.
2, 3.
Just 3. Yep, just 3.
Is this a countdown?
John dissolves Jolly Ranchers in beer to make them his own flavor. That's from your brother.
That was jelly beans, not Jolly Ranchers.
Yeah.
And that beer was horrible.
I kind of want like a chicken and a biscuit pilsner.
A chicken and a biscuit, like chicken batter or?
No, like the crackers, the chicken and a biscuit
crackers.
Oh,
okay.
I want you to make a pilsner with that.
Okay, pilsners are hard. I've always wanted it because they're cold crash.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. But I want a chicken and a biscuit. I'll even take an ale or something.
An ale, like I can do an ale. It'd be a very light ale.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'd love to do more videos of like, hey, here's a beer. Let's make it. Let's try some weird funky thing.
I think you need to get into
a gallon batch.
Yeah.
Stuff like that. That would be fun. Yeah, I think maybe I will. I'm cleaning out my studio area since you inspired me, Jeff.
That's what I do, Jonathan. I inspire people.
So hopefully you'll see
inspire them to respect me.
Hopefully you'll see a new area of shooting behind me for hops and brews, and then that'll also give me more room to do stuff too. So hopefully in the summertime or spring we can do like small batch, like 1 gallon. Hey, let's try something with X. Yeah. Old X79 motherboard. Let's throw that in the boil.
Yep. Big Big Spoon, $2 donation, 2, which makes me worried. And then the D, $5 donation, 4. And then John, $2 donation, 1. Yeah. We'll see where that goes. It would be a gose, too much salt in the chicken and a biscuit.
No, you could desalt it, and then it really all depends on where you put the crackers, because you could put the crackers in the mash, and that would dissolve most of it, because then you'd wash it. So it all really depends on where you add the crackers.
Yeah. But no, I would totally love
like a pale.
Like a pale or Pilsner would be great.
Pilsner would be great because Pilsners are lager already have that biscuity flavor to it.
But that's my challenge to you. I want a chicken and a biscuit Pilsner.
I'm just gonna get a chicken, a biscuit, and here's a Pilsner. There you go. That's KFC and a Pilsner.
That's what Natty Light did. They took HRD and put seltzer in it.
So we all remember back in 2018, the fires, the California fires.
Yes.
So big, horrible, act of nature.
Was it 40,000 people displaced?
Yeah, a lot of things displaced, towns on fire, and then Sierra Nevada even had to shut down.
Yeah.
And then we talked about it. They did the Resilient IPA.
Yes.
And it was they were expecting 100 breweries, and then 1,500 showed up to help support it. Big spoon. Okay, yeah. So if you haven't been around, Australia was actually on fire not too long ago.
Yep. Who's the first to boop the other? Loser needs to take a shot of winter whiskey.
Oh, wait.
$20 donation, big spoon. Who's the first to boop the other?
Wait, the loser gets the whiskey or the winner gets
So if I boop you, I think you have to take a shot of whiskey. So I'm going...
Yeah, I was like, come on.
This is not a fight either of us will win. I'm telling you now.
Should have reversed it.
Yeah. Because the winter whiskey is freaking awesome.
Boop.
Right?
Boom.
Oh no, he got me
too. Yeah. But yeah, so the Australian fires, there's actually some breweries that are trying to do the exact same thing in Australia and nationwide. So it is the Resilient Australian Bushfire. And this is actually going to be a pale ale, not an IPA.
Yes.
But it is the same concept. Right now, actually only a handful, I think 12 or 13 breweries are only signed up. But there's plans. Right now it's still in the sign up stage of, hey, we want you to come out. There's international. They already released the recipe. And it's funny because the recipe they released was actually for the big boy brewers. Here's all the chemical, the temperature, how you need to ferment the 500 gallons. They haven't released a homebrew one.
Yeah. Which is funny because last time locally they did release a homebrew one.
Yeah.
And there was actually one of the hops that you could get that was on the list. John lives 7 miles from that farm.
Yeah.
And knows the owners.
Yeah, exactly. There was even a kid who developed his own homebrew, or did that as a homebrew, sold it as homebrew, and then donated that. So that made the news. So maybe they want to think about that. But if you got any brewery friends, registration for that, or just you want to try that pale ale, keep an eye out for that. If you see it, buy it. It's for a good cause.
Let's see. Chris Starp said missed the start of the stream, having an Nkasi Megalodon.
Oh, Megalodon's
very
good.
Nice. And then later on, he says hello from Oregon in the U.S. Hey neighbor, you're probably about 60 or 70 miles south of me if you're having an Nkasi.
Yeah.
So.
Or technically there, yeah. Or you could be right next door, stalking us, peering us through the window.
Yes. Yeah. So yeah, no, we're in Oregon too.
Yeah.
So that's why there's beer on this show.
Yes.
Let's see. And good day, everyone. Hello, and many
Hi.
greetings from Germany, and then the hello from Oregon. So yeah, a lot of people all over the place watching us. That's freaking cool. So
Yeah.
But no, the Resilience IPA idea and now the Resilience Pale. Basically, the breweries have full instructions on how to make these large batches of it.
Yeah.
They sell it, and all the proceeds are supposed to go to relief efforts for the fire. So in California, it was Chico Valley relief efforts. In Australia, it's going to be basically all of Australia because it's all on fire.
Yeah.
But a very, very cool project. What was there? 1,300 breweries signed up last time?
Yeah, it was 1,500 breweries, and they were only expecting 100 to do it.
Right.
So hopefully we'll see something very similar. This just got released a few days ago, so give it traction, a little bit of traction, and then I wouldn't be surprised. I even actually already reached out to a couple of the breweries in Salem, said, hey, you guys should do this because you did the last one. It was a big hit, and it's nothing but good publicity.
Yes, absolutely. So, all right, that is going to do it for the beer news tonight.
Yes.
Only 24 minutes in, not bad. Having opened Well, one beer.
Well, technically, yes. 1 beer, 4 drinks.
You're on like strike 2. Don't push us any further.
All right, I'll bring something good. What's really bad is I'm actually down to like only really good stuff at home.
That's my entire fridge.
And it's just like, I'm just drinking liquor.
I have the full liquor cabinet too, and like I said, I very much so. I am a liquor and cocktail guy. That's my wheelhouse. The beer, there's a lot more variety that I can have on a show-by-show basis, which is why I decided to do my show based on beer and not on
cocktails,
on alcohol. That, and there's a little bit more stigma with hard alcohol. It's a little bit easier to get over that hump with beer. And so I figured this would be an easier to present prop on the show than hard liquor would be. And so far it's working gangbusters. No one's... I'm not growing any slower because of it.
Yeah.
In fact, I think it's helped accelerate my growth a little bit because I have a hardcore beer drinker fan base that watches my show, sometimes just to find out what we're drinking. That's freaking cool. But I opened my fridge the other day looking for a beer that I could open and shoot a video with, and I'm like, you know what? I haven't had breakfast or lunch yet, and I want to shoot this video, and I want to get it done in like an hour, so I need to be able to slam it quick. So I'm looking for like a 6 or 7%.
Yeah.
I'm like, 12, 5, 14.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
9.
Yeah. I know. I'm the same way. I'm like, this is $20, and this is only 12 ounces.
I think I had 30 or 35 total beers in my house, and I think 3 of them were less than double digits.
Oh yeah. I know. I get it. I totally get it.
Because I've burned through all my regular supply.
Yeah. No. For me, it's just like, okay, I have big beers to share.
Yeah.
Beers for just videos of like, okay, I wanted to do something special with that one. And then I drank through all of my regular drinking beers. So it's just so hard. I open my fridge, I'm like, I'm totally full, and I can't drink any of them.
Yeah.
So, but someone said hello from Daniel Hood. He's from Klamath Falls.
Klamath
Oregon.
Falls.
Yes.
I've been through there.
Yes.
I've broken down there once.
My brother lived there for about 2 years.
Yep.
So.
Yep. No, I used to drive through Klamath all the time. It's usually my stop when I'm heading down to California and beyond. Is we'll stop into Klamath Falls and have a breakfast or lunch or whatever else. Yeah. When I'm heading out towards the east a little bit more. But hello.
So you got your new Google cell phone, right?
I did. I got a Pixel 3a.
Pixel 3X. I have the Samsung S10. One cell phone that we've both talked about and in the past have loved in our early days was the Motorola Razr.
Yes, I never actually owned an original Razr.
Oh, really?
All of my friends did.
Yeah.
Even at the time that the Razr was coming out, I was very much into like, what's the coolest phone I could get, and the Razr was cool. No doubt about it. But I was looking for something with like early smartphone potential.
Yeah.
And
I think the keypad with the key.
When I was in 8th grade, I spent $500 of my own money on a handspring visor. Because I was that kind of kid. And then early on in the early smartphone days, with HTC with the 8180 or 8150 or whatever that phone was. It was a sliding Windows CE based phone.
Oh yeah, I remember that one.
There was the Samsung Blackjack,
which
was a chocolate bar phone, but with a
it had the keypad.
It still had a
query pad.
Wasn't even a query, or no, it was a full keyboard. That's right.
Yeah, it was a full keyboard, but it was really tiny.
Yeah, it was an itty bitty keyboard.
Yeah, I remember that.
And then later on ended up getting a Trio 650, which I used that phone for 5 years.
Oh yeah.
So yeah, never owned the original Razr.
No, actually I never did too. One of my brothers did, not Steve, but another one. Actually, the one that lived in Klamath Falls. But he brought over, and it was just super slick. And back in the day, folding phones, they were the brick, the Nokias, and everything like that.
Yeah.
And then you had the Razr kind, and it was paper thin. To the time.
Yeah.
And we got really excited about when Motorola announced that, hey, we're coming back up with it. Well, it is now at pre-order stages.
Yes.
And they released a video with it.
A very interesting video, I will say.
They're basically telling the user how to use their phone, and if you don't do it that way, you're doing it wrong, and you're basically gonna break it.
Right. The video is really, really weird, I will say. Because it looks like a promotional video for it, but it's the care and feeding of your Motorola Razr, essentially. And it shows like, you know, the chic 20-something sexy, you know, kind of guys.
Can we play it without the volume?
We can probably play it as long as you don't maximize it, and I think the volume is off. Yeah, the volume's off, so I think we're good to go there.
I'll just mute it. And then can we do closed caption?
Yeah, but so it's got the, you know, here's the
phone. Oh
yeah.
look, you know,
if it gets wet,
resist.
wipe it off with a
cloth.
with a dry microfiber cloth. The screen is made to bend, so bumps and lumps are normal. The screen has a protective coating, and don't use a screen protector. Watch this. This is hilarious. There you go.
No,
I don't need that.
I don't need that.
Get that out of here.
Our screen's perfect.
Right.
Make sure to close your phone before putting it away
in your pocket or purse,
because it'll scratch it.
Right. But it's this and the whole time it's the
yeah, it's all exciting music. Get ready for this, blah blah blah.
Yeah.
You know, yeah, it's
one of the weirdest videos I've ever seen.
It didn't make me want to buy it.
No, it didn't. It was preempting problems that you are going to have with your Motorola Razr.
Yeah. And so if you're gonna buy it, wait, do I get the shot now?
You get the shot now.
We'll get it later.
We'll get it, yeah. I had to.
Yeah.
Opportunity presented itself.
But the other, so yeah, there's going to be huge complaints. Basically, they're just trying to address the complaints already with foldable phones because it has that foldable glass technology.
Right.
And the bubbles and creases and not being able to put a protective screen on it have been some of the biggest ones. Mm-hmm. But on top of that, this is coming in at $1,000 price point.
Right. $1,500.
$1,500?
Yeah.
Even worse.
Yeah. I said when the Moto was announced 8-9 months ago?
Yeah, a while ago.
It was a while ago.
2 studios ago.
That, man, if this comes in at like $800 or $1,000, it's going to turn heads.
Yeah.
It is going to present itself as, you know, a genuine flagship competitor to the Apples and Samsungs and whatnot. And even if it was like $1,100, you know, you're pricing yourself with like a top-tier iPhone X or, you know, Galaxy S10 or something like that. You're in that same conversation. $1,500?
And then you're telling everyone it's probably going to get scratched. There's probably going to be bumps and bubbles in it. And it can't get wet. You know, make sure to wipe it off right away because you're going to ruin it. And if it gets scratched because you didn't fold it when you put it away, well, sorry, that's your own fault.
Right. Yeah.
You know, not blaming confidence in this product right here for me. Although I'd love to just play with one. You know.
Yeah.
You know. I don't know.
Yeah. Someone said, Bob says they had an AT&T Tilt with Wi-Fi. Ooh, but that's getting a little bit later in the game. That's like, you know, just barely predating the iPhone, or maybe right after the iPhone first gen came out. I think it was the AT&T Tilt, because the AT&T Tilt was actually still made by HTC, and it was the same model as the 8150. Yeah. But it had the it was a thick slider phone, and then this came up. So yeah, I remember that phone. But yeah, so
yeah, Motorola.
Yeah. Now, originally the price was estimated to be $2,000, so I am happy to see $1,500. Although well equipped is probably still $2,000 for the memory upgrade.
Yeah, I would be curious if they do like a light version and a standard. A lot of the stuff all the new flagships are doing.
Yeah. But yeah, I mean, we are the target demographic for this phone. It's the kids who were in, you know, late high school, early college, and whatnot.
And kind of want to relive that. And on top of that, you know, it's just something different than the standard, oh, look, you got curved glass now. Or you get an extra millimeter of glass, edgeless screen.
Right.
I don't care. You know?
I will say I do want to go back to a slightly smaller phone because I don't use my phone all that much for anything but, you know, Twitter, a little bit of Reddit, checking on my YouTube videos, and then phone calls and texting. Yeah. And honestly, I would like to go back to like an iPhone SE or iPhone 5S kind of style phone. A little bit smaller, fit behind my wallet. you know. And,
well, even this looks like it fit like in your shirt pocket.
And it would.
Yeah,
and,
you know.
And honestly, I do keep it there from
Yeah,
time
exactly.
to time.
Well, that's the problem. It's like now they're like my phone is just getting bigger and bigger and heavier, and then I lean forward, flops out. You know.
Right.
I would like it to be even this in my back pocket. It sticks out. That would sink into any pocket.
Is HTC still alive? They sure are. They made the HTC Vive. They made the headset. They have the Vive Revolve, I want to say. Revolve, something like that. It's their second-gen headset with inside-out tracking and better screens and stuff like that. So, yeah, no, they're still alive and kicking.
Yep.
Although some people think they should be dead. All right. What do we got next?
More cell phone news.
More cell phone news. Yeah, that's right. So I wanted to kind of parlay this into a little bit of like a right to repair talk because there's been some of this coming up again with Louis Rossmann appearing before Congress a couple of times very recently about, you know, lobbying for right to repair and whatnot. The reason we need right to repair is affordable repair of consumer electronics or devices or farm equipment. John Deere, looking at you. You know, Apple and et cetera, et cetera.
Cars.
Cars, right.
Yeah.
We have right to repair on cars. The manufacturer cannot restrict access to user manuals. They have to make parts available for a certain number of years after a car is made. They cannot restrict the market to third-party or aftermarket components, and so they have to allow cheaper alternatives. So that they can't restrict down to their own supply chains, and then and not only that, but let's say, you know, you needed a new battery. Well, if it was BMW, they'd say, well, we use this very specific battery, and it's $1,738 for our battery. And if I went down to the local tire and battery shop and said, you know, hey, give me a new car battery for $150, BMW would then go, oh, you can't use that in our car. We're going to void the warranty on your car. They can't do that. It goes back to, we don't have to cover the battery in the warranty because you replaced it with a third party, but everything else is still valid, and there's laws and consumer protections for things like that. With consumer electronics and devices and computers and what, there is no such protection, and we've gotten into, I don't want to get very political, but a very wasteful society. A use it once, you know, planned obsolescence. Use it until it breaks, and then when it breaks, throw it away, or when it's obsolete, just throw it away because who cares anymore? And I'm the kind of guy who does like to keep things around and kicking for quite a long time. I don't sell very many things. I don't cycle through things.
He's a hoarder.
For a while, not gonna lie. Not gonna lie at all.
Hey, I had to buy a whole new piece of property to store all my stuff.
Yeah, right, exactly. Yeah, but one of the reasons we need right to repair is for the affordable repair of electronics, because there's always going to be a third party, but whether or not you can actually get those parts and who makes them available, but also OEM replacements being halfway affordable. Sprint is doing kind of a cool thing right now, where through February 9th, they are offering
a flat rate,
$50 to repair a Samsung Galaxy screen. Now, this is not the Samsung Galaxy 10, but this is the 7, 8, 8 Plus, 9, 9 Plus, and Note 8.
So still pretty new stuff.
Right.
Basically, the last flagship, the previous models and down.
Right. And it can be any carrier's phone. It can be a fully unlocked phone. It can be an AT&T phone. If you walk into a Sprint store and say, hey, I have a Samsung Galaxy S8 Plus, and I cracked the screen on it, they'll go $50. And they'll fix your screen for you. And if they can't fix your screen, they'll give you, what was it, $200 credit towards to
fixing it.
Right. Or $150 towards a new device. But they're comparing this offer to some other repair sites. There's a U-Break iFix would cost $200 to repair the screen on a Galaxy S9. Sprint's offering to do it for $50. Now, this is probably just a promotional deal. When I first found the article, I actually thought it was going to be like hey, we're going to repair your screen for $50, like from now on.
I thought the same thing. I was like, oh, that's cool. And then I saw it till February 9th.
Right.
And this started when? This article was released when?
Last week.
So, hey,
January 23rd. So, 6 days ago.
So, you have 3 weeks.
Yeah. So it's kind of a cool promotion from Sprint, but I want to see more of this. I want to see affordable repair of devices. I want to see people hold Apple's feet to the fire so they lower battery prices again. Because that's the reason I stopped using Apple products altogether. Was I was an Apple user for quite a number of years on iPhones, from the iPhone 3G through the iPhone 6s Plus, and bought nothing but iPhones. I had a couple battery swaps in the middle. I think I did a new one in the 4, and then I think I did another one in the 5S. But I was an every other iPhone model buyer, and whatnot. And then I got the 6S Plus, and about 12 to 14 months in, my warranty's expired on the phone, but my battery is absolutely shot. And so I went to Apple. I took it to Apple. They wanted $139 to replace the battery in my phone. I'm like, it's a lithium battery. It's $5 it costs, and then whatever your labor is. Because batteries are pretty cheap, especially for small consumer electronics. Whereas I can get a good battery off Amazon for, $25 or $30 with a full kit to repair it and whatnot. And they probably come off the same dang line that the Apple batteries do.
They just split off for the sticker.
Right. So I said, I'm not going to spend $140 on a battery repair. I'll just do it myself. So I did it myself. And then that actually didn't fix the phone. There was a problem with the charging circuit on the logic board. And because my phone was overheating and it wouldn't get past about 80% charge and a couple other things. So I'm like, okay, well, I just need to get this fixed then. So I took it to Apple, and I took it in there and I told them what the problem was. And then I said, I've replaced the battery. That didn't fix the issue. I need you to replace the logic board on my phone for me, or whatever you determine the issue to be.
What the issue was.
And as soon as I said I replaced the battery, we went, whoa! I can't touch that. If I touched this phone, I'd be taking the lives of everyone in this store into my hands. I am not waxing poetic. This is verbatim what he told me. I would be taking the lives of everyone in this store into my hands, because if I rupture that battery or damage the battery in any way, shape, or form, it could explode.
No. Well, it's not the Samsung Note or whatever that one was.
Right. No, that was a couple years later. Yeah. But basically, a lithium battery is a lithium battery.
Yeah.
And excuse me, but I replaced a bulging battery out of that 6S. The one I put in there is certainly not in that bad of condition. But because it was a third party, all of a sudden he's going to level the city block if he makes a wrong move with my phone.
Because you MacGyvered the crap out of that.
Right.
And turned it into a bomb.
Whereas 3 or 4 years earlier, I would have taken that same phone into the same Genius Bar. Number one, they would have gotten me instead of making me wait an hour and a half for my appointment, and then speaking no words to me, just like taking my phone and like,
what's wrong?
Right. One of the repair techs there literally picked up my phone out of my hands, didn't say a word to me or who she was or what she was doing. She just went.
Yeah.
And she's doing this to me. And then she goes, and she's like chewing on gum and whatnot. And I went, do you need something? She goes, unlock it. And I went, okay. And I use my fingerprint. She goes, thank you. And then she goes, and walks off. She then left for the day. Those were the only words that she spoke to me, was unlock it.
And thank you.
And that's the kind of service that I got at Apple. Yeah. And I went, I spent $950 on this phone. It's 14 months old.
Spare what they have to say.
It's 14 months old. And this is what you're doing?
Yeah.
I'm done. I walk away. So, yeah. Big Spoon, before dawn. Big Spoon can't hear you over here. Also, whiskey shots for John. He's going to do that later.
Yeah, I'll do that later. Maybe after the beer.
Yeah. Don't
want to taint the beer.
Yeah. Regan says, sounds like something that would happen in Portland. $2 donation. Yeah, actually it was. It was the ritzy Apple store in Portland. to that. But yeah, it was, evacuate the city. The guy replaced a battery on his iPhone. I'm not kidding. And that's when I lost my ever-loving mind.
Yeah.
Because I'd been in that store 90 minutes past my appointment time. I was treated that way when she finally got to me and whatnot. And then the manager came over and go, hey, what can we do for you, buddy? Can we sell you a new phone today? And I went, no, I just need this one fixed. I replaced the battery. And he goes, whoa. And I'm not exaggerating that. I'm not exaggerating that one bit. But because I had the balls to replace a battery in my iPhone, I could have literally killed everyone in that building.
Apparently, yeah. No, yeah.
Yeah.
I believe them.
It's a good thing it was an outdoor mall. Otherwise, it would have been the whole city block.
Yeah. Oh.
But yeah, it was.
I'm surprised they didn't call like security and have you hauled out.
You had me hauled out. You know, hazmat come in and pick the iPhone with tongs.
Tongs. The the Monsters Inc. had to dump it in there, explode it.
Yeah. But I literally started selling my Apple stuff after that day. And that wasn't that long ago. I mean, I had done the Mac Pro video on my channel at that point. It was just a couple of months after that happened.
On this channel?
On this channel.
Oh.
Yeah, I did my Mac Pro, my 2010 Mac Pro upgrade.
Oh. Oh, yeah. So that was really early on then.
Yeah. Yeah, that was October, November 2017, something like that. So it wasn't that long ago that I was an Apple customer, and I bought a lot of Apple products. I owned 3 different Mac Pros. I owned a couple iMacs over the years. All my laptops for 10 years previous had been MacBooks. And because they wouldn't even look at my iPhone and tell me whether or not they could repair it, I sold everything.
Because you touched it, yeah.
Right. I still have a 2013 or a 2017 that I bought like earlier that year.
Did you sell that cell phone, and then when you sold to the
No,
guy?
I still have the cell phone.
Oh, okay. You should try taking it back.
I should.
Or like...
Because now they'll replace batteries for $30 because it was discovered that my particular model of iPhone had batteries in them that could not only rupture direct from Apple, they could also damage the charging circuit in the phone and cause the phones to overheat while charging. So the whole problem was their problem originally, and they still wouldn't look at it. It was only a couple months after that I had gone through that Apple announced, yeah, we're going to all of a sudden lower prices on battery replacements down to $30 because these phones are literally exploding because people can't afford to replace them.
Well, maybe that's why he thought it was going to explode.
Yeah, but I was so frustrated. I found this channel thanks to that video. Thank you.
Hey!
Yeah. Updating this video for the rightful Apple shaming. And like I said, I like the products that Apple makes sometimes. And I gave Apple all the props in the world for their 2008 through 2012-ish products.
Yeah.
Because they were a juggernaut that could not be beat, both in product quality, support, service. Walk into the store, you get every problem fixed. It's sir, may I hold your coat for you, sir? It was that level of service. And then around 2012, they hired the former director of service from HP, and strangely things started going downhill in their service department and in their warranty department. And Apple became the Apple of 1998, where they're their own worst enemy.
Yeah.
But they're too big now that they're having a hard time failing. And there's a lot of people who drink the Apple Kool-Aid. And I don't begrudge those people at all, because you have to make decisions based on what you like. And if they've had great
experiences with
them,
there are still, but like that kind of hinders back to the statement you said of we're just a society of buy and waste and buy and waste. And if that's what you're used to and you're fine with that, and you're like, I'm used to Apple and I'm just going to buy the latest one every year, or I think they have like the recycle plan of always get the latest Apple no matter what, just pay us $300 a month, then go ahead and do that. Keep buying Apple.
Apple replaced the battery in my 6S for free. No complaints here. You son of... But
and that's where we stopped being a family-friendly show.
but literally, that 6S Plus phone was the reason I stopped buying Apple products. Was because of how I was treated, both leading up to those events, the quality of the product itself with touch disease and not being able to swap out the thumbprint scanner because it was tied to the early encryption chip and it needs to be like locked down within the whole phone. It was all an affront to right to repair, which I am very much for.
Yeah.
Coupled that with the service I received in store and the treatment that I received in that store that day, I'll take my money elsewhere. I will learn to use other products. I was an Apple video editor to that point.
Yeah.
I was an iPhone user. I was a MacBook user for travel and mobile. And I gave it all up on that day. I started selling everything. That was it. I haven't looked back, and I haven't been sorry either. So, but like I said, I don't begrudge anyone else's personal experience. If you like Apple, that's totally cool too.
Yeah.
So, all right, I think I've bashed on Apple for long enough.
Where's the rent counter?
Yeah.
Or the rant counter.
Yeah, that was at least 2. That was a solid 2.
Well, you did slam your hand.
I did slam
I think, twice.
Yeah.
So.
I slammed it once.
Was it once?
I dropped the phone on the table once.
Okay, yeah.
Because that's what they did to my phone.
Well, that's what, kind of like a slap.
Yeah.
Whatever, slam.
It was a little bit of a slap.
Yeah.
But Anyway, moving right along. So Intel is giving this one a third go. Maybe third time's a charm. So Zombieload was presented to Intel as a microarchitectural data sampling flaw, or an MDS flaw, all the way back in June of 2018. Yeah. And Intel is still working on fixing this particular bug. So if you don't know what that is, basically speculative execution bugs, or MDS bugs, are Intel will write whatever it's working on in cache and then process through it later. But while it's doing the processing, it will try to guess what the application is trying to get to. It will guess whatever byte it's trying to get to. If it guesses wrong, it will then open up its cache, and when it opens up the cache, it allows any other application to read everything within the cache. Now, the exploit is a program can say, I have this really complex algorithm for you, and I would need you to work your way through it, causing Intel to guess incorrectly. Then the program will just copy the contents of the cache, which could be encryption keys, it could be usernames and passwords.
Don't know, but whatever was
financial routing numbers,
yeah.
whatever memory was currently in the cache, you can read. And it doesn't have to be just on the one machine that you're on. This could be remotely executed. This can also traverse virtual machines. And so if you have a server farm, say an Amazon web server, an AWS instance, and you lease a single virtual machine with a single processing core, you could run this exploit on a cloud server, and you could view every other virtual machine's cache that's running on that server. So if you happen to be put on with, I don't know, a banking authentication handle, you could all of a sudden start sniffing
all the routing numbers and whatnot.
Routing numbers, username, passwords, all that kind of stuff, all unencrypted because the processor works at a plain text level. You could copy all that unencrypted and then just send it off. Having owned one CPU core on one server. So not a very good bug to have in your processors. And by the way, this bug dates all the way back to Sandy Bridge.
Yeah.
Or no, Zombieload goes all the way back to
it was early 90s.
Pentium 4, Prescott. Yeah.
Because we first talked about this on the show a long time ago. Yeah, back in 18.
Yeah,
when it was announced.
I think this one was actually announced in May of 2019. It was made public because Intel came out with some exploit fixes for it.
Yeah.
Well, the fixes never actually worked. So they tried once in May 2019, and then they issued another MDS patch in November of 2019. And now next week they're going to launch a third patch trying to patch the original problem. Now, the reason we're talking about this is Intel is taking a little bit of flack from the research team that originally uncovered the crack, or uncovered the flaw, because, quote from the research team, these issues aren't trivial to fix, but after 18 months, they're still waiting for researchers to put together proofs of concept of very small variations of this attack for them. It's amazing. We don't know the inner workings of Intel's team, but it's not a good look from the outside, end quote. So basically what Intel is doing is they're saying, prove you can exploit this. Okay, prove you can do it this way. Okay, prove you can do it this way. And so the research team is providing all these moderate iterations of ways to exploit this. And Intel is, quote, waiting for us to do all the work for them so they can just issue a patch to eliminate the ways that we showed them.
Yep.
Not necessarily addressing the root of the problem, which is the speculative execution.
It's just, here. See, we were able to go through this way. Let me take a look. 6 months later. Yeah, here you go. Here's a fix for that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it was... This is not a bug to be taken lightly. As again, it can be executed remotely. It can be executed from a single VM and used to pull data off of other sensitive equipment that you would have otherwise no access to. And it's seriously not a good look for Intel, either in their security processes or general management, or go down the line of who's at fault here. Everyone's at fault here.
Well, I mean, this can even affect technically there was even talk because this was still on the SKUs of their upcoming chips too, wasn't it?
Yes, it was. This is still vulnerable in 9th and 10th gen chips.
Exactly. So this is also hurting the server area department.
Right. They did mitigate Spectre and Meltdown, although at a pretty sizable performance hit, especially for earlier chips like Sandy Bridge, Ivy Bridge, and whatnot. Chips that are still viably in production today because, well, Intel hasn't made a lot of strides in processor performance or efficiency since 2011. Yeah, it's not a good look.
Nope.
It's not something you want to keep hanging around for very long. So hopefully next week Intel will issue a patch. Everything will be honky-dory, and we'll report on that. This one I added very late to the game.
Yeah, I didn't see this one.
Yeah, and I know you probably didn't. So Microsoft, I guess, was it 3 or 4 days ago, issued an apology because they apparently let a bunch of user information slip in the most embarrassing way possible. So I know you're reading very quickly, John.
Yes.
Microsoft leaked the data of over 250 million customer records over a period of a couple days. The reason it leaked over a couple days is because that's how long it took some people to download that data. And for Microsoft to say who is accessing that data and why are they downloading this stream of data from us, from out of our database. Well, what data is it? Well, it's our chat records from 2005 through December 2019.
7.9 billion records.
14 years, 7.9 billion records, different chat logs of 250 million individual customers. Now, how did they get this data? Did they find a back door? Did they exploit something? Yeah. Was Intel responsible for this? Did they get a password?
Was it an Intel processing chip?
Nope. It was in an unauthenticated web browser. It was like an Apache web server, and someone opened a browser and saw all the log data and just started downloading it. Oh my God. No password, no authentication, not even a secure site. It was open on a standard web browser. They just typed in the IP address, hit enter, and went, "Ooh, what's this? Download." Yep.
Was it just some?
Yep.
Someone got lucky.
Yep. Someone just a random server which had a web host on it, and so it was like a generic IIS page, Internet Information Service page, and had just a file list. The file list was browsable.
Oh my God.
And here's all their chat logs. Every last one of them. 7.9 billion chat logs over 14 years.
That's probably the guy in 2005. This is my test one, and probably just left it up.
Zoop. Yep.
And it's like, no one's ever going to do this. And he probably got fired a year later, and he's like, eh.
Yep. Microsoft confirmed that complying with their standard operating procedure, personal information had been removed using an automated tool. But this is kind of which they also clarified under which conditions data may have been left unredacted. An example of this occurs if information was in a non-standard format, such as an email address separated with spaces instead of a written standard format. For example, name space at Contasso, which is a standard Microsoft test account, versus the standard email address, which is no space.
No space. Yeah.
But basically any non-standard format. So think of cities and zip codes and billing information and account numbers.
Possibly, credit cards.
Phone numbers, right.
Let's hope that Social Security.
For 7.9 billion records. So the chances that some of these are
yours,
not redacted and the chances that some of them are yours is quite high. I'm sure some of them are mine because of a number of Microsoft calls that I've placed professionally over the years. That's speaking with Microsoft Gold support and all that kind of stuff. But yeah. Someone left a web server up with a file browser.
Oh my gosh.
Enabled, and here we have a 250 million customer database breach.
Wow,
it's hard to even call a breach.
No, yeah. Oh my gosh.
Wow, I was 100% expecting an unprotected S3 bucket. You're not far off. You're definitely not far off on that assessment. Was not aware it was chat logs. Yeah, it was all chat logs. Yeah. Is it Hyper-V or VMware? It's hyper-malware. It would be nice if the data was encrypted on the storage, and following all procedures, it should be encrypted while at rest and in transit, but it wasn't. So, yeah, not great news for Microsoft either.
So what do you think of this beer as it warms up? Kind of a, we'll cool off a little bit. Talking a lot.
There was a beer that I had last year that I think one of my Wisconsin viewers, I think Caveman, sent me. He sent me a nice care pack. This reminds me of Horny Goat Brewing's peanut butter porter.
Oh yeah, no,
very much so.
Very much so.
It's that very similar salted peanut, dark chocolate.
Yes. Kind
of blend, and I do enjoy it. I don't think I'm enjoying it anymore, but I don't think I'm enjoying it any less as it warms up.
Yeah, I think the peanut taste has kind of gone down as it warmed up, but it's still a very decent one. I agree with you. The Horny Goat, and actually, one of your Patreons, Becky, sent me that exact same beer recently.
Yeah. Have you had it yet?
I have had it, and it does remind me. It's very, very similar. So,
like I said, it's just that right amount of dark chocolate flavor, but still a little bit sweet, still a little bit not too sweet, but just a little
sweet,
bit. But a lot of and I don't want to really call it like a peanut butter, maybe more like a peanut brittle or just like salted peanuts.
Kind of like that. It's like a dark chocolate with peanuts in the dark chocolate.
Yes. Yeah.
Type of a deal, and a pretty good dark chocolate, not like the Hershey's dark.
No.
You know, probably like a 75 cocoa or whatever.
Right.
Or cocoa, however people want to say it.
Cacao.
It's cocoa.
Cacao.
But yeah, it's one of those more of like an artisan dark chocolate with some raw peanuts. You know, tastes very enjoyable.
Yeah, Becky wants to know if you enjoyed that.
I did enjoy it. I still have one more. That was actually the beer I stated that I brought last week, and we were supposed to have it on the show last week. We just didn't have it.
Yeah, because John walks in and I went, I've had that one.
And I was like, oh, all right, whatever.
Yep.
I'll bring something you haven't had. Yep. Natty Light Seltzer and Bud Light Seltzer.
Yep.
It's still there.
You see how he treats me? He takes the Horny Goat home and he gives me Bud Light Seltzer.
Well, because you complain that when I even bring a decent beer, you're like, I've already had that.
Didn't say I wouldn't have it again. The hell is wrong with you?
Well, Big Spoon wants me to have my shot.
We're almost to the end of the beer. I think we can probably do that.
All right, I can have mine. Whoops, wrong button.
What did you do?
Just the mouse. I mean, I'm not gonna like shoot it.
Yeah.
I will appreciate it. Oh, this is the cider?
Yeah. This is the Jack Daniel's Winter Jack. It's a Tennessee cider.
So this is only like 20%, isn't it?
Yeah, no, it's a lighter one.
Okay.
Becky says, I tried to send good stuff to him to share with you. You see how John treats me? You see how John treats me?
He just doesn't want to drive over to my house.
Well, to be fair, I do I do go over to John's house and bring all of his good stuff. So.
Yes. It's fine.
Yep.
I mean, the other stuff Becky did give me, I do plan on bringing it on the show.
Now, this bottle is... obviously, it doesn't age the longer it goes, but this bottle is almost 2 years old.
Is it?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. So it's not even, like, recent.
No. No, because they actually stopped selling this for a while. They recently brought it back out.
Okay.
But they had discontinued the Winter Jack, and it wasn't on the shelves for at least 2 or 3 years. So I think this bottle is probably from 2017.
Gee, it just... The viscosity of the leggings on that stick.
Yeah. No, it's
almost mead-like.
Yeah. Well, it's about the same percentage. It tastes a lot like mead. It's got a little bit of honey, but a lot of that like honey crisp apple.
Oh. Mm-hmm. That's easy.
Mm-hmm.
I could drink that.
Yep.
Ooh.
Yeah, 20%.
I could drink like
15%. Excuse me. It's lower than mead.
It's lower than mead. Well, some meads, but yeah, like the good year.
The meads we drink.
The meads we drink.
Yes.
But still, no, that is
Yep.
Yeah, I could easily see, like, honestly, like 6 to 8 ounces, and that's the end of the night, but with a little bit of ice.
Yep. Yeah, I've kept this around because it's an excellent nightcap.
Yeah.
I don't drink it all that often. It's probably about right there. But it's just a good one to have around. And it's only like $15 or $16.
No, that's decent.
Yeah.
I will probably, I'm assuming it's seasonal.
Yeah.
I will probably pick one of those up.
I think they still have it running. And so,
Really?
Yeah.
I
saw it in the store this last week when I was there.
I wouldn't mind picking one of those up.
Yeah. But I mean, it's about the same that we'd spend on a nice beer. It's the same amount. It's a bomber size.
Yeah.
750 mil.
Yeah.
So. Yep. And you can reseal this one. You don't have to drink 26 and a half ounces of. Yeah, it says shots. I don't do shots. I don't do shots. Well, sometimes. Yeah. Usually it's Jameson Black Barrel. If I'm doing shots, I will do some Black Barrel shots. But that's usually with a certain group of friends. We'll get together and we'll do shots. No, that was quite good. I like that.
Yeah, that was really good.
Yep. All right. Moving on.
Some AMD news.
A little bit of AMD news. We'll start with the mobile CPUs. One of them.
Nope.
No.
There it is. Nope.
Yeah. No, we'll start there.
This one.
No, yeah, we'll start there. Okay.
Yeah.
Sorry, I opened the wrong link.
I opened technically, and you looked at the monitor, and you're like,
I did. Let's start with, okay.
It was my fault. It was my fault.
I'll let you take the blame. That's cool.
Yeah.
Anyway, I believe Steve from Gamers Nexus did touch on this. I don't know if he got one of the counterfeit coolers or if he just talked about it, but I know I saw the thumbnail pop up in my YouTube feed. But AMD had to make an announcement regarding counterfeit AMD Wraith Prism coolers.
Yeah.
And it's kind of rare for a company to acknowledge a fake product unless it becomes a rampant issue. And apparently this has become the point where it's a rampant issue, or AMD sees it as enough of a problem where they need to address it. Nintendo's done this a couple times with some fake SNES Classic consoles. They go, no, those aren't ours. Those aren't licensed. They're not official. They're garbage. Whether or not they are.
They were just Raspberry Pis.
Some of them might have been. But it's gotten to the point where AMD had to basically do an official release on their Twitter. And it says, quote, AMD is pleased to offer market-leading premium Wraith coolers, thermal solutions for socket AM4 and AMD Ryzen processors. Our current solutions, the details of which can be found on AMD.com, use 4 heat pipes, and AMD has no plans at this time to introduce a new AMD Wraith Prism with additional heat pipes. It has come to our attention that third-party coolers using 6 heat pipes that are designed to look like official AMD Wraith Prism solutions, including the illegitimate use of AMD branding, are now entering the market. Please be aware that these solutions are not genuine AMD products and have not been tested and validated by AMD to meet our build quality and performance requirements. We are actively investigating the source of these products and will take necessary action to enforce our rights to ensure users receive genuine AMD products. If you have any questions about the origin of a cooler, please verify the solution at the link above. End quote. So, yeah, I haven't personally seen one of these coolers or even a listing for one. Otherwise, I probably would have bought one.
I'd love to see, you could do a comparison of here's an artificial versus what.
I wanted to, and I've been looking for one. Because I heard wind of these a couple of weeks ago. And I didn't want to, announce anything then. I'd only heard is AMD coming out with a six pipe one? I saw a weird listing for something. I don't know. But nothing concrete that I could point to and go, oh yeah, that's actually for sale.
Yeah.
Had I found a sale link, I would have just bought one and then tried to do a video very quickly of it. But no such luck there.
Yeah, I'm curious of what the AMD branding when they reference. Is it just the same look, or are they actually blatantly stealing the logo, the sticker?
No, if you click on the Bitly link.
Oh yeah.
There's basically what they're doing is the cooler on the right. It looks identical to that cooler, or the one on the left.
Okay, yeah, this one.
Yeah, it looks identical to that cooler.
But does it have AMD on it?
It says AMD with the full ring light.
With the ring light?
Yeah.
Okay. So that's what I was wondering, because then I can see them totally being like upset and suing or trying to find
right. If it was a similar design but didn't use AMD's branding, they probably wouldn't have even made an announcement.
What if it was like AMG?
Right.
and then the font of the D and the G are like the gap is so tiny.
Samsung.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. The Mexican equivalent.
Yeah. But no, apparently the coolers looked identical to the Wraith Prism. They just had 6 heat pipes, a little bit bulkier on the bottom, on the fins and whatnot.
So better. So AMD's
it
pissed
may
off
be better.
That someone did a better job.
It may actually be better, and that's kind of why I wanted to get a hold of one, but I couldn't find one anywhere.
It's probably like Huawei or Huawei.
Yeah. Try AliExpress. Yeah, I thought about that. I was thinking about jumping on there. People are talking about how to ship beer. USPS won't ship anything. FedEx will ship a baby.
USPS will ship.
And Trick Logic says, there are 4 heat pipes! Thank you. I kind of want to try to get one of those fake coolers, to be honest. Yeah, exactly. John Jay says he actually bottled his own Black Barrel at the brewery at 60.2%. Oh, be still my heart. Oh, get me a cask strength Black Barrel, please.
Oh my gosh.
Because that is delicious whiskey.
Mint and Jack Daniels? Oh, Steve's having that.
Yeah. We're not mixing liquor on the show tonight.
So. No, we did that one time.
Yeah, that was a special, like, that dude dropped like $250.
Yeah.
You drop $250, I'll consider it.
Big Spoon's just been like...
Yeah.
3, 2, 1.
R.I.P. the stream. No? I think that's just you.
No, it still looks good.
Yeah. I'm looking at it right now. Yeah, who knows?
All right.
Anyway, moving right along.
Mobile AMD news.
Moving on to mobile AMD news. So AMD very quietly and very sneakily announced the AMD 4800U mobile CPU, the Ryzen 7 8-core 16-thread chip, at CES, but they didn't announce it directly from AMD. They announced it through a couple of their partners, one of which being ASUS, which ASUS sent me the Zephyrus 14 because I want to review it. Anyway, they announced basically there's going to be 2 4000 series chips. There's going to be a Ryzen 7 4700U and a Ryzen 7 4800U. The 4700U is going to have 8 cores and 8 threads, so it's not going to be SMT enabled. Well, apparently we have some leaked benchmarks. JD says false alarm. Okay, everyone's saying good here. You're stupid, JD. No, I'm kidding. Nah, JD's cool. JD's cool, I promise. Well, I assume. He's on the Patreon. He's probably cool. Anyway, we have some leaked benchmarks of the 4700U stacked up directly against the i7 1065G. God.
Whatever.
Intel. Bloody heck. Fix your CPU names.
Scheming. Yeah.
Yeah, there's the i7 1065G7 and the i7 10710U. Those are literally from the same family, and you can't even keep them straight. Oh, there it is.
There it is.
God, I've been fighting that for like 4 minutes. It's like, hold on, it'll pass. No, hold on, it's coming back. Anyway, so the Ryzen 7 scored a 4910 in Geekbench single core. Coming back. John, keep reading.
It's a 4910 in a single core and a 2169.3 in a multi-core thread. You good?
No. I'll be fine. And a 21693 in multi-core. So we do have the numbers from the 10710U i7 Comet Lake, still 14 nanometer. Which is a 6-core 12 thread. So this is 8 cores, 8 threads versus 6-core 12 thread. The i7 scored a 5366 in single core and a 22182 in multi-core.
Oh, a little bit better.
So the Ryzen didn't quite meet up, but it's within a couple of percentage points.
Yeah.
It's within 5%, pretty much in both regards. maybe closer to 8% in the single-threaded score. But still a pretty competent score, especially because this chip does not have SMT. Remember, we're talking about a 12-threaded CPU in a multi-threaded workload versus an 8-threaded CPU with 8 cores. So more physical cores, but much fewer threads. And so the fact that it's losing in single core, I'm not really concerned about, especially because this might still be a reference chip, an early model chip without full boost clock or without all of the the multi-core boost kind of things. The 4700U apparently has a base clock of 2 gigahertz and a boost of 4.19 or 4.2 gigahertz. We'll have to see if
that's a big boost.
Well, a lot of the mobile chips have been doing that. They've been staying at a very low standard clock and then literally doubling their clock in burst. And so a lot of the thermal solutions really can't keep up with this, but the nice thing about it is when you're not doing a lot of intense work, they really do sip on power. That's what this does. I think this is a 1.8 with a 3.6 boost. The Ryzen 5 2500U. I want to say it was a 1.8. Of course, it doesn't show it there.
And
base clock of 2.0, max boost of 3.6. So yeah,
so almost double.
Yeah.
At least 2/3.
Right. But yeah, 4 core, 8 thread, and it's been bless you, thank you. But yeah, this has been cranking right along. This is what I used to edit all my ProRes footage at CES this year, and it did fantastically well. Although I could have used a little bit more render speed, quite honestly.
Well, I wonder if the reason why they released this chip through
board partners.
Yeah, the other
laptop partners.
Laptop partners. Well, not this chip, but at CES. I'm not making a big announcement because it is, like you were saying, kind of that base chip that let's just test the waters with this and everything else. Not make a big stink about it. But with the benchmarks coming out, and then possibly, 6 months, 8 months down the line, they do come out with that 8-core, 16-thread.
Well, the 4800U has already been announced as well, and that's going to be in the Asus Zephyrus 14. And that is an 8-core 16-thread chip. Okay. So that one's already official.
Okay.
Yeah.
So even the lower end model is still worth something.
Right. Yeah. Kind of some big news on the music front.
Very interesting news.
Yeah.
This one is kind of, I had to almost like watch a video on it to really understand what is going on with this.
Have you ever done much with MIDI?
I have dabbled a little bit. The most would be electronic drums and a little keyboard.
Right.
That's
most people their experience with it is in keyboard or sequencing.
Yeah.
A lot of stuff for electronic music. But MIDI has been a standard that's existed since 1985.
Yeah.
Unchanged. Literally, the standard came out with the 5-pin DIM plugs. Which look a lot like the original keyboard DIM plugs, predating PS2 plugs.
Oh yeah.
The old IBM Model M's. They looked very similar to that. That's what a MIDI cable is. And originally, you could plug it into a MIDI interface, and then later on, it was compatible with your game/MIDI port, your 15-pin on a PC. And then they came out with some USB ones, but it was all based on that original sequence or that original MIDI 1.0. Information or protocol rather. That's the word I'm looking for. Well, MIDI 2.0 was just announced, and the cool thing is it is still 100% backwards compatible with MIDI 1.0.
Yeah, that's the cool thing I think is really that it technically still what it does is almost communicates and recognizes that, hey, this is a 1.0 device. Okay, I'm going to send a 1.0 signal.
That's exactly right.
Here's a 2.0. I can now. The other interesting thing is talks back and forth.
Yes. So MIDI 1.0 was notorious for being difficult to work with because you had to tell the device everything that you wanted it to do, regardless of what you plugged it into.
Yeah.
And so if you plugged a keyboard into a sequencer, you'd have to tell the sequencer
I want this sound.
Yeah, you want this sound. You couldn't tell from the keyboard, I want you to push this sound, or I want you to pull down like a record of what sounds the sequencer has, and then I want you to use this sound base. You had to do modifications on each device that you needed them to do, and depending on where they were in your workflow is where you had to work with them at. There was no communication between devices. The new protocol, and I know this is over some people's heads. I'm going to try to explain it as best as possible. The new protocol is a two-way protocol. It's basically a TCP connection. It's, hey, who are you? Hey, I'm a server.
I'm a server, yeah.
Right.
Let's talk back. Oh, what are you?
Little XKCD. Hi, I'm a server. Hi, I'm a mobile phone. Here, let me give you the mobile app. Hi, I'm a server. Anyway, the new protocol is a two-way protocol. So basically, the devices will negotiate what the other device is and then say, well, you have things that I can work with, and I have things that you can work with. Why don't we like swap that information, and then it'll be easier on everyone. And so that's the heart of what this new protocol is. So the first step in this is it negotiates whether it's MIDI 2.0 or MIDI 1.0. If it's MIDI 1.0, it'll fall back to the old standard, and you can still use the devices. But MIDI 2.0 gets a lot of new features, one of which being profile management. So the device will actually tell whatever two devices are connected together, what it does, what it can handle, what inputs it's expecting, what outputs it's expecting, and then they will automatically synchronize with each other. It just basically expands on what should have been there probably about 15 or 20 years ago.
Oh, yeah, I know.
Because the technology's been there to do all this, but the protocol has never been re-explored because they're like, well, if it's not broke, don't fix it.
Oh, yeah, I know. I mean, really, because this is very similar to the USB. Like, a USB cable would have done this all the way, but everyone just stuck with me. Like you said, ain't broke, don't touch it. Everyone knows how to use this type of technology.
Yep.
Not gonna break the wheel.
Yep.
And I think most of the people that have tried to break the wheel have eventually just failed, and the industry has never adopted it.
Right.
And then the fact that it's MIDI, it's the upgraded version. Oh, let's take that. And it's backwards compatible.
Right.
That's the other big thing. So you can have that new device, and all the new devices will probably start being 2.0 versions, and then it still works with all your old stuff.
But if you invested in tens and hundreds and thousands and tens of thousands of dollars worth of MIDI equipment, which there are some people out there that did. There's a lot of different keyboards and synths that are legitimately like $7,000 products.
Oh yeah.
And whatnot, and you might want to use it with a 2.0 sequencer, or there's the old Yamaha MX5, the old wind sequencers, the electronic saxophones and violins and things like that were basically MIDI controllers that needed a sequencer or a voice box essentially to output sound to.
Yeah.
Those will still work with MIDI 2.0 devices, and so now if you have a MIDI 2.0 sound device or instrument library, now you can plug your old Yamaha MX5 wind controller.
Yeah.
And go ham on it.
Yeah, no, it'd be really cool, and I'd love to see other like instruments be the 2.0 style with all the audio still built into it, so it is a plug and play instead of that was the problem I always had the trouble with was okay, so my keyboard was very similar setup to what you have, an L shape, a computer on the left, keyboard on the right. Okay, let's try this keyboard. No, don't like that. Scroll. Try that one. Don't like that.
Nope.
It'd be so I'm on the keyboard. Just like those cheap ones you find at the store. Oh, what is the organ sound like? Next one. What is the next one? What is the next one? You can do it all from the instrument.
Yep.
That would be really cool. Even just what would be fun too is see triggers, because MIDI triggers.
Right.
I played with those on a drum set. That would be really interesting to see.
Yep.
Too. But yeah, again, this is one of those like, if you don't get it, who cares? But once you understand the technology, and if you are in that realm, your brain just explodes with, I could do what? And all these interesting other things. So, I'd be fun to go to like a Guitar Center or something like that to mess with a little bit of some keyboards.
Yeah, absolutely.
So, or drum sets or whatever. I'm betting it'll probably take another year to year and a half for actual products to be part of it.
Yep. So, but no, as I've used MIDI before with electronic drums and keyboards, and I've dabbled with some different wind controllers and electronic violins and things like that, and they're definitely a lot of fun. But they were always very frustrating to get up and running.
Yes, that was
my biggest.
That was always my problem too. And same thing too is I even tried turning my acoustic drum set into a MIDI set with triggers.
Yeah.
And that was just annoying too.
Yeah.
It's just annoying.
Yeah.
So that's pretty much it for tech news.
Yeah. So we're gonna roll over into a little bit of a rapid fire here. I think we've got 4 stories.
Yeah, three short stories.
Four to get through real quick.
Oh yeah.
Why don't we do the vehicle ones back to back?
Okay.
So let's actually jump into the gaming news first. We'll do the gaming and then we'll jump to vehicles and then back up.
Got that.
Got it. All right. So Psyonix made an announcement earlier this week, much to the displeasure of a number of their user base, and that is that Rocket League will no longer be available with online multiplayer for Linux or Mac. Which is kind of a spit in the face for one of the games that pioneered bringing multiplayer to everyone.
Yeah.
It was one of the first that PlayStation Online announced that you could play multi-platform. It's one of the ones that bridged everything together. And all of a sudden, Psyonix is slamming the door on it. Now, they're claiming this has nothing at all to do with the fact that they are now owned by Epic Games and Epic has a Windows-only server.
Yeah, not anything to do with
Nothing to drive people over to the Windows.
They're just saying
side platform.
The version is out of date and it needs to be fixed.
It's out of date, and we want to bring like new technology to the game.
Yeah,
and you're still supporting the Switch. You can freaking support Linux.
Yeah.
It is such a cop out, and it is such a money grab, and crap like this pisses me off.
Oh, what was it?
You're cutting support for the sake of cutting support.
Now they will supply you. They're stating that if you have a license, you can then go trade it in for a Windows license. Should you have the rig to play it on? That's my favorite line.
Yeah.
So,
tell you what, you want to install Boot Camp on your MacBook, then we'll gift you an Epic Store license for Rocket League, which also gets your foot in the door with their digital economy and This is a cash grab. Make no bones about it.
Oh, it is, and someone's gonna come out with the next multiplayer whatever.
Yep.
I don't think it's gonna be a Rocket League ripoff, but something like it.
Now, Mac OS and Linux don't have the largest community base. This isn't the biggest hit to gaming. This isn't an affront to anything, but this is the kind of story that just kind of ticks me off, especially because Rocket League was one of the groundbreaking games that you could play on Xbox, Switch, PS4, Windows, Mac, Linux, all on the same multiplayer server. It was one of the very few games in the history of gaming that has bridged every single platform.
Yeah.
And all of a sudden, Psyonix just goes, yeah, we're not going to do that anymore.
We're kicking two of you out.
Just because. Now, there's still money to be made on the Switch, so we'll do that. But but Mac and Linux, I'm just not feeling it anymore.
Buy Windows.
Yeah. Yeah. So, just irritates me. So, Psyonix, Epic, shame on you both. This is crap.
Yeah.
Everyone loses. What's up next? I forget the next one.
Fortnite.
Oh, that's right.
Actually, I am not a player of Fortnite. Are you?
No, I am not.
I am not. Supposedly,
I benchmarked it one time. I will never do that again.
Supposedly, it is the number one game or one of the number one games in the world.
Yep.
Whatever.
It's up there.
It's up there. It is now going to be a legal high school and college sport.
Yes, it is now officially recognized by NFHS, which is the Association for High School Sports, as well as the NCAA.
Yes.
As an official sport.
Yes, as an official sport. And
a lettering official collegiate and high school sport.
Yes. High schools can pay $68, $69, $64 per player. And it's all thanks to a company called Play VS. They were campaigning this in LA, and didn't take long, and 13,000 high schools signed up for this to join on the wait list. And to put that in perspective, there are 14,000 high schools that are signed up to do football.
Yes.
So it's only 1,000 high school difference.
Yep.
Between I want
football, Fortnite.
That's it.
Right.
But now, so for high school, it is a legit. It's going to be going to go through the NCAA. It's still, the contract has not been signed.
Right.
But it is basically like almost a done deal. Mm-hmm. But yeah, so we might be seeing trading cards of Fortnite players in high schools, and I lettered in Fortnite on your Letterman jacket.
Yep.
Oh my gosh.
It's about as bad as me saying I lettered in marching band, though.
No, I can't wait though. I can't wait for the NCAA PlayStation 5 Fortnite tournament.
I will say I am a 7-time letterman in high school. So I've got that going for me.
Yeah.
Three athletic, 4 academic.
Okay. So I was a 3 athletic letterman, but I didn't do any academic stuff.
Yeah.
I was like, I'm too busy.
Yep.
I got the ladies.
Yeah.
I lettered in.
No, you didn't.
There was. I lettered in a 4th letter. They just couldn't sew it on the jacket.
Yeah. I feel dirty all of a sudden. Dang it! I closed my notes. There we go.
All right. We got some car news.
Car news. So Rivian. Excuse me, Rivian. I always want to say Riven.
Oh yeah.
The truck made in Rivendell.
Oh yes.
Mr. Anderson.
Yeah. I'd say the catchphrase, but we can't.
Yeah.
Ugh. Close enough.
Yep. So Rivian, they have announced that they are coming out with an electric truck and an electric sedan both, named the R1T and the R1S, if I remember correctly. I don't have the note in front of me. They had announced maybe around October, September-ish last year, around that time frame, that the truck would be available, an SUV and a truck. Sorry. The R1T would be available for about $69,000. Nice. And the truck and the SUV would be available for about $72,000. They've actually revised those estimates now. The new estimates are coming in at, where was the freaking dollar amount?
I thought those were the dollar amounts.
No, they had other dollar amounts listed here, because they were now supposed to retail for $61,500 and $67,000. So there were supposed to be $7,000 reductions basically to each of them. But I'm not seeing that now. I literally read this article like 2 hours ago. That is weird. No, there were other numbers here, because they said the original prices, and then they said there's going to be price drops. Expect prices lower than originally announced. Was supposed to clear $69,000 and $72,000. There were more numbers in this article. Why are they not here now?
Yeah, there's no retraction.
It was supposed to be $61,500 and I think $67,000 for the other one. So it was up to $7,500 off each of the MSRPs.
Yeah. Anyway, so whatever.
So I don't know why that was retracted, but apparently it was retracted in the 3 hours leading up to the show. So I guess it was more than that, but I read it at like 4 o'clock.
Yeah.
Just to verify what my numbers are.
No, but these trucks are actually pretty cool because they're at a full charge about 300 miles.
300 miles. They're the first car available that does turret turning. Yeah. And so it will actually pivot in place.
Yeah, that's pretty cool.
Yeah. So 4-wheel circular burnouts. Just
yeah.
Yeah.
No, they actually look pretty, at least the truck looks pretty cool too.
Yes.
I actually, because...
it looks like a truck, you mean?
Yeah, it actually looks like a truck.
Yeah.
Even the headlights are kind of cool.
Yeah.
So...
Yeah. The prices are lower, but apparently I can't officially quote on what they should be.
Yep.
So.
Do you want to go 88 miles per hour?
I'd love to go 88 miles an hour.
Would you pay $100,000 to go 88 miles per hour?
That's $100,000. I could probably think of a couple other cars.
And not break down. Let me say that. And not break down.
Ooh.
And have modern features in that 88 miles per hour.
See,
still look like the 80s?
As much as I love modern features, I also like stripped down cars as well.
Yeah.
I love cars from the 70s, 80s, and early 90s. You know, I am definitely a fanboy from that era as well. I have a soft spot in my truck. I had an 88 Dodge Dakota V6 Magnum.
Oh, yeah.
With this atrocious 4-speed with a 5 overdrive on it, but it
still loved it, right?
Still loved that thing.
I had the same.
God, that thing was a piece of garbage, but I freaking loved that truck.
And you know, it could go through anything. You could throw anything.
Got like 12 miles to gallon.
Yeah. I loved my trucks like that.
Yeah. So, I do have a soft spot for like vehicles like that. The DMC was always proposed to be this like Italian level sports car with the mid-engine and the vroom vroom and that stainless exterior and everything else
and the gold wing doors,
but it never performed like you thought it should have.
Oh no, it was a gutless 4-cylinder.
It was a dog.
Yeah, it was horrible.
No, it came in a V6.
Was it
the V6 was like 130 horsepower.
Oh my god, I thought it was a 4-cylinder.
No, I thought it was like 108 and 130 were the 2 horsepower.
Oh my god,
abysmal by today's standards, and even by like those days standards, because it was a heavy car too.
Yeah,
it is not light on its feet, so it never really like performed like it should.
But it was announced a couple of years ago. Someone bought the old DeLorean factory.
Yeah, old DMC out of Texas.
And they had plans. I think it was like 2017, 18, something like that. They said, "Hey, we're gonna release brand new DMCs,
brand new factory fresh DMCs from the original shells."
Yeah, but with modern, basically a better engine, a modern engine equivalent, and it's taken some time. Basically, there's been a lot of hoops to jump through regulations and everything like that because they're such a small car company. Yes. But it's looking like they will be available probably sometime this year. Mm-hmm. But the price point for a brand new one, looking around $100,000. Mm-hmm. And it still looks the same. I'm betting suspension and handling probably still the same.
Probably still the same. Maybe a little bit better with some modern shocks.
But it's still a heavy car.
It's still a very heavy car with the stainless body on it.
Yeah.
Still has the full frame over body or body over frame design on it. So you got the stainless steel body over a stainless steel chassis.
Yep.
Yeah. So it's going to be interesting to see if this thing actually sells. I'm sure it'll sell.
I'm sure there's going to be some fanboys that are going to actually buy it. Although I remember a couple years ago when this came out, I did look on Craigslist like what does a used one go? Only going for like 50 or 40.
Even good examples are going like high 20s, low 30s.
Yeah, I mean, I know there's one in Oregon. I've seen around every now and then.
Yeah, there is one that drives around here. He lives in Tualatin, I believe.
Okay, yeah. I know I've seen it around.
Yeah, but you can. I mean, Hoovie bought his DeLorean. What was it? Sometime early last year. I think he paid. What was it, $14 for it or something like that? It needed a new transmission, but he got a new transmission into it. He's into it less than $20,000.
Yeah, you're in it, but it's not going to be a daily driver.
No, it's certainly not.
So this is basically like, hey, you want a daily driver? $100,000.
Right. If I had a DeLorean, I would want an LS swapped DeLorean. Yeah. I would want a mid-engine LS swapped DeLorean. That's the only way I would own one. And even then, I guess they are horrible to drive. They're a bad driving position. Yeah. They're not properly balanced. The suspension was awful on them. And $100,000 for one that's made factory fresh. I'm sorry.
Yeah, I know.
I'm still not into it.
Now, if they went kind of a secondary route of a DMC 13 and remodeled like some concept version, and still said, hey, we have a 12 or we got this brand new sexy 13.
Yeah.
I think that would do so much better for that company.
Yeah.
Instead of, hey, we're just paying, going off of your nostalgia.
Yeah. No, I fully agree with that.
So, looks like we got about 20 minutes.
About 20 minutes.
You want that beer?
Yeah. Let's do that.
You want to just leave it in the bottle, or do you want the glass?
We got some. Oh no, we use the glassware. Okay. Oh, we got the tasting glasses right there. That'll be perfect.
Oh yes. Yeah. The one you almost broke.
Shut up.
This glass is kind of like me, and I wanted to come in.
A little bit awkward.
Sponsored like Hops and Brews.
Yes.
Like, Thanks, Jeff, for breaking the gift I got you. And yours is dirty.
Well, I did just wash it.
Oh, okay.
Oh, no, it's still just dry.
Oh.
It's just water.
All right.
This is actually the glass that I almost broke. it was literally right here. And what's really funny is what I didn't show in that video was the number of times I hit it, making gestures with my hands.
Well,
it was 6 or 7 times. I would come up and hit it just like that, and it'd go bing, and I went, ooh, I can't do that. And so after I did my first little bit of dialogue, I went, I'm just going to move that back just a little bit.
That's in the video,
and I'm sitting there, and I'm still talking, and I'm still hitting it with my finger every single time. And I'm going, okay, I need to stop that. I need to pay attention. And then we're getting to, like, one of the frustrating things that I had with that monitor was, it's got a great feature, but you have to choose between DisplayPort and HDMI, and I wish they would consolidate this, and HDMI 2.1 would have done that, because then you could use adaptive sync. So I'm like right at the culmination of the video, and I go, bing! And if you watch it in slow motion, I'm saying words. I'm saying a sentence. As soon as it hits, I stop my sentence because I realized what I did, and I'm here when the glass hits. I almost caught it. Go back and watch it. My reaction time was spot on.
Yeah. If you haven't seen Jeff's last video, it's a great video in itself for just the review, but that little bit of entertainment.
It was a really good review too.
Yeah, what it really was for the entertainment, because he used that as the thumbnail, so you know what's happening. It makes it a great video.
The suspense in that video is palpable.
Oh yeah, it so is, because like I said, you even mention it, and you're like, when's it gonna happen?
Yeah.
When's it gonna happen?
So, John, we are drinking a very appropriate beer for the conversation that is about to befall us.
That's kind of why I brought it.
Yes. This is Ninkasi's Galaxy Trippin' Stellar IPA. Can you tell me a little bit about this?
So, this is kind of an interesting beer. This is Ninkasi Brewing. It's a local brewery in Oregon, in Eugene, Oregon.
Yeah.
It's not a single hop. Actually, I found that out today. But it's their brand new seasonal release. It's a 7%. And the other interesting part is it's a 45 IBUs. Anything about beer, usually 7% is a pretty... It's almost imperial. It's a high for your standard IPA. Usually you see a 60, 65 IBUs. Mm-hmm. 40 is the bare minimum requirement to classify it as an IPA. So the fact that it's a higher alcohol and a lower IBU, mm-hmm. it's just interesting.
Yeah.
It's kind of contradicting itself.
Yes. So we are going
to... Yeah, sorry. I totally messed that up.
Totally
screwed that up.
Gosh.
Yep. I just wanted to keep talking.
So we are going to be talking probably for the next 7 weeks or so, for the last little bit of the show, about Star Trek Picard. We are massive Star Trek fans, especially TNG and DS9 era.
Yep.
And Voyager. I want to include Voyager.
Voyager's not bad, but don't include Enterprise. It's okay, but and then Discovery. Don't even talk about it. Don't even mention
something
yeah,
sequel.
something.
Oh, just dial right.
Yeah, basically.
Yeah. But TNG, DS9, that's what we grew up with.
That's the heart right there.
And Star Trek Picard could not be any closer to that in its inception. So, we kind of want to, over the next number of weeks, give kind of like what are our thoughts on the previous week's episode. So there are going to be episode 1 spoilers if you have not watched it yet. But let's just start at the very beginning. Opening crawl. That's a Star Wars reference, but opening scene. You're out in space. You see the Enterprise D in a way you've never seen it before. Almost a Star Wars style.
Almost,
intro.
but I have to stop you right there. It looks so sexy.
God,
it looks so good.
God, it looks so good.
Because it was such a perfect example of that's what it would look like modern, and they did such a good representation of
so good
of like all they basically did was almost just chrome it. That's all it kind of looked like. And there was a little detail. If you notice in like the warp nacelles, they had a little more lines in it. I was like,
the deflector had a little bit different glow to it.
But it was just like, and then so as it's flying, it's tilting and swooping.
It's swooping in and it does this.
Yeah, and you're like,
and you enter 10 forward through a window matrix style, and you're going,
that's how they see everything.
Right. So opening scene, freaking nailed it.
Yeah.
Picard is playing poker with Data.
Yeah. I saw a couple. So even after reviewing this, by the way, I have to state that if you haven't joined Jeff's Discord, the second that episode aired, well, we had to wait because Jeff didn't see it, but the moment he released the authority for us to talk about it, we talked about it till the wee hours of the night.
So it comes out Thursday at midnight, like midnight in the morning. So the next episode will be out in 2 hours and 15 minutes.
Yeah.
But I put a memorandum or a moratorium on speaking about Picard until 9:30 p.m. West Coast time, so I can get a chance to come home, have dinner with my family, put my girls to bed, snuggle in with my wife, watch it on the TV, and then come downstairs and talk about it. And so at 9:30, game on. It's spoilers in the Discord, but we mark every spoiler with a spoiler tag, which means that it kind of looks like the Kennedy assassination report.
It was so funny.
Everything is redacted.
Oh yeah,
it's so great.
Yeah.
But anyway, so Picard playing poker with Data on 10 forward. So great because Picard never played poker with the crew until Nemesis. Yeah. Until the last scene of Nemesis.
No, it was the last episode. He sets down,
that's right.
He sets down and says, I should have done this a long time ago.
Yeah, should have done this.
And that was the first time. So technically, we don't know if he continued playing poker with them.
Right. Yeah.
Which is so.
Right. But anyway, so Data dies at the end of Nemesis and gives his life to save Picard and the rest of the crew. And that's kind of the opening theme. Yeah. Is Picard is sitting here playing poker with Data, which is something he didn't get to do very often. And whatnot. So tugging at the heartstrings a little bit. But speaking of like the main story, I don't know if I was right yet in my prediction last week about the Romulans are like infusing themselves with Borg technology, but we do know the Romulans are on a Borg ship. That was the outro reveal.
That was the big outro reveal. I don't know how to I don't think that's how it is. I think so. The premise leading up to Picard was that if you ever watch J.J. Abrams' Star Trek, it talks about Romulus about to explode or get hit by a supernova.
Right.
The Romulus sun is about to explode. So technically, they're stating that
the Harris sun, but
yeah, whatever. That little bit is technically still canon of the non-J.J. Abrams universe.
Yeah, there's a star that blew up. It took Romulus and Remus with it, as well as a number of other star systems in that area.
Yes, and so apparently they knew about it for a little bit, so I have some other thoughts. But anyway, Picard was in charge of the evacuation of Romulus.
Yes.
And then something happened in the middle of that, or just before that, I'm not quite sure. But Mars basically got attacked.
Yeah.
And they were attacked by synthetics, or they were androids. They call them synthetics now, but they were androids.
Right.
They were...
And I think since they're trying to draw almost like a slur to that word. Because before, Data was an android. He was an artificial human.
Yeah.
That they never referred to Data as a synth. They referred to him a couple times as a synthetic life form.
Yes.
And they referred to the Borg as synthetic life forms before as well. But all of a sudden we have the synths rose up, or the synths attacked Mars and left 92,000 people dead and whatnot.
Yeah.
And so that race is becoming like a hot topic again. And you see this in the interview with Picard, where he's talking about, the rescue operation and whatnot. And she brings up the synths attacked us, and Mars is basically still on fire. And we were talking about, Picard says we were talking about millions of lives at stake, and she goes, Romulan lives. And so she's saying it like Romulan lives don't matter.
Yeah.
And so that kind of paints a picture of where Earth is at right now.
Yeah, and so this happens to be, right after the Dominion War, DS9.
Yes.
It's only about 10 years after that. So supposedly the backstory is that a lot of nation or planets left the Federation because of that.
Yep.
It's
said the cost was too high.
Yes, basically. So the Federation is pretty kind of like weakened from a lot of battles. And then Romulan and Nemesis kind of plotting to destroy Earth by cloning Picard. There's a lot of stuff that intake in this. I actually had to watch the episode like 2 times to kind of just, all right, I'm just a fanboy watching. And now, like, hang on, I have to dissect everything. Yeah. I think a lot of episode 1 was 50% just here's some fan service.
Right. I will say the pacing for the first episode was a little bit weird at times because you probably watched Ready Room with Will Wheaton.
Actually, no, I didn't.
You didn't? It was actually a good walkthrough because he talked to the director and the producer of it, and talking about the challenges that they faced, and they said we wanted to really present all of the information that had happened in the last 20 years without just spoon feeding it to you. We wanted an event in the show to explain what had happened and then move on. And I thought they did that pretty well a couple of times, but it also felt a little bit rushed a couple of times.
Yes.
Whereas TNG's always been just a little bit more laid back. And whatnot. Sometimes they made some weird leaps, just for time's sake, because you're talking about a 40-minute episode.
Yeah.
But this one, I felt it still had that laid back pacing, and then all of a sudden there were like 5 minutes of like, and then all of a sudden it's back to this really
slow, and then I'm just. Somehow I assumed all this, and I'm correct. The one shot, I felt it, and I totally got understand. There was kind of just Picard's premonition of who the female Dodge character was. Yes. It was like that whole communication between the two of them. That's what felt rushed. Mm-hmm. Everything prior to that, though, felt like you said. The interview, that interview seemed like, oh, I understand. Yeah, it's 20 years. Right. I got it. I know what happened.
We got the history. It took 3 minutes and 14 seconds.
Yep, that's it. Right. I mean, I got the good gist of it. I don't really need to. If I want more, I'll figure it out later.
Yep.
Yeah. So there's. You know what I also love though? There was one tiny little scene they did it during with Dodge. They were escaping, and Picard shows his age. Mm-hmm. They're running up a flight of stairs, and he's like, "Hang on,
you can't make it.
He can't make it. Right. I have to catch my breath. Hang on, I'm just too old." Right. I really like that they showed that. It wasn't just let's have the stunt double run.
Yeah, all of a sudden he's not just an action hero. He's an elderly man.
Yeah, they're not making this a Die Hard where he's John McClane's still 70 and jumping up.
Weapon 5.
Yeah, exactly. Which
was announced last week.
Oh gosh. So yeah, it's not that. It's literally like I'm an old admiral.
I'm getting too old for this shit. You were too old for this shit 20 years ago.
Exactly. So what
are you gonna do now, Donnie Glover?
I really appreciate
not Donald Glover. 2 different people.
That it was probably like a 2-second scene.
Right.
It was so fast, but like I appreciated that a little bit.
Yeah.
But the story, then the story goes that basically that the Federation, because of the attack on Mars, wanted to pull back the resources that was supposed to help Romulus. Well, Picard then said, no, we have to finish this. Mm-hmm. Somehow got some people to rescue, and that might have even caused him to quit the Federation after that.
Yeah.
Basically,
he resigned his commission.
He resigned his commission right after that mission, and so he has kind of some Romulan butlers or caretakers, I should say, more caretakers. And they're just like, we appreciate what you did, even though the rest of the universe doesn't get it. We understand the sacrifice you did. Yeah. And so it's kind of points back to where Picard was saying in the interview, Romulanized, and he stops her and says, no, lives. And that right there is the original TNG. Yeah, it's that it was always about lives and matters, and the original theme of the Federation. There was always this optimism, and it seems like that optimism is now gone with the Federation.
Yeah, exactly. And Picard said it wasn't the Federation anymore. Mm-hmm. It was it had changed, and I wouldn't stand with it.
Yeah,
and he didn't stand with it. So what do you think of the overall presentation? Because Star Trek has always had a very unique style. And you could argue like the original series kind of had its own style. TNG, DS9, and Voyager, they all followed kind of the same procedure-esque cinematography, etc. Yeah. Static cameras, conversation scene changes.
No, this is very beautiful. It is almost a symphony of photography.
Yes.
Cinematography.
Yes.
Sorry. Cinematography.
I stopped. So there's the opening scene with Data, and then we moved to the apartment with Daj. And I paused it maybe 30 seconds into that, and I said, The cinematography is gorgeous in this. And I was awestruck my entire first way through, because in every single scene, in every action, there's movement with the camera, and it all makes sense. They're showing you something, they're revealing something, they're coming into a character just a little bit. It's just off kilter. It's this, it's that. They're evoking so much emotion and story non-verbally.
Oh yeah,
just with the camera movements.
It paints a great picture of the world outside that Picard lives in, and what the universe is. Well, technically, what's on Earth right now. You know,
but this is going to be a masterclass on cinematography by the time that this show is done.
Well, hopefully,
it really is.
I mean, let's. We don't know what tomorrow.
I'm counting a couple chickens before they hatch here. But if episodes 2 through 7 are anything to gain from, this is going to be a masterclass in how cinematography and storytelling should be done with modern cameras and techniques.
Yeah, no, I think this will be done. This looks really well. I'm already within episode 1 way better than the first 2 seasons of Discovery.
Yep. And as someone pointed out, viewership holding steady. Look at that. Yeah, not bad. I'll take it.
That's fine.
Yeah.
Yeah, we've talked a lot of Trek on this show.
Yes. Yeah, you had to expect it. But the couple of things I didn't like all that much, because there were a couple things. They held your hand through a little bit of the storytelling. They held your hand a little bit too much. There was Daj, when she first arrives on the vineyard, and she says, "I feel comfortable with you," and whatnot. They put the blanket around her, and she's sitting there, and she's playing with her necklace. She's doing this. And Picard, just out of the blue, goes, "That's a beautiful necklace. May I see it?" And oh, it's a very unique design. It's two interlinked rings.
I know. I thought the exact same thing. It's not a great design.
Right. But then he hands her back, and he goes, "Oh, thank you for showing me that." And whatnot. Yeah, my father gave it to me. And whatnot. So it's like they held your hand so much through that scene. I didn't like that scene. And then the very ending scene with Saul, with the twin of Daj. She's sitting there, and they do this like close up coming in, and she's sitting there and she's doing the same thing, just standing there, just doing this. Yeah. It's like, do you do that all freaking day long?
If you did that middle would you'd
right. And then instead of just like letting the cinematography tell that story, the Romulan goes, "That's a beautiful necklace."
I know.
I know. My sister had one just like it.
It couldn't have been.
Don't do that.
I know. Why didn't they just sit there and be like, they had the conversation and the last word, and then they're just zoomed in right up.
Those 2 scenes are the ones that I have a problem with, because to me that was like, I don't like sand. It's coarse and dense and irritating, and it gets everywhere. That was that level of dialogue.
Yeah. No, I had that same problem. Actually, all of my problems had to do with the character Daj or her sister.
Yeah.
Even the scene where her boyfriend dies. And I stated this on the Discord chat. Okay, so supposedly some assassins come. Now, this is the future where they have universal translators. And this is actually a recurring theme within Star Trek of...
Speak English, damn it!
Yeah, exactly. So that's what happens. These assassins start talking in a foreign language. I'll spoil it here. Romulans start talking in their native tongue.
In
Romulan, and they say, "Speak English." Why?
Right.
Would you say that?
Right. And what's really funny is it says in subtitles, "Speak English."
Yeah.
Across what? It's like, oh, come on.
Come on. Like, why not? And even then, why wouldn't you have some form of device that disguises your language?
Yeah.
In that, you would think with all their technology, because even in the first episode, they wanted to show how advanced technology kind of came already. And how dumb it was still with like the replicators. This is all you have? Vanilla ice cream.
Right.
You know?
Right. See tomorrow's technology today with the new pad.
Yeah. So
there was like ads in the streets and whatnot. Which I'm glad the world of Star Trek feels a little bit more lived in than it did in Next Generation whenever they showed scenes on Earth.
Yeah.
Because every time they showed a scene on Earth, it was this pristine, utopia of a planet. When people are still going about their daily lives. And that's one thing that I loved about DS9 is whenever Ben Sisko went home and he saw his dad, there was the comm panel on the wall and there's like a screen up there and whatnot, but he didn't have a replicator, and that's because his dad was against replicators. But he's sitting in the kitchen and he's washing dishes with a rag.
Yeah.
And I loved that little bit of like, yeah, I still got to do this crap.
I was like, yeah, this is still everyday living.
And to me, there was a little bit more of that. There were some modern conveniences, but it was like me walking up to a Keurig and getting a coffee and going, God, all you have is dark roast?
Yeah, exactly. Upgrade your replicator already.
Right. That one felt like that to me. And so there were a bunch of things that I appreciated. There were only a couple dialogue choices that I really didn't like, but story-wise, I'm pretty impressed thus far. I'm still very happy. I think a lot of the huge fanboys like really dissected it, and I watched a couple of those, and they're pointing arrows out left and right. I was like, you could do that to every single episode of a TNG DS9, that this episode counteracts this episode, and blah, blah, blah. But I think for the most part, for those hardcore fans, look back at Discovery and how much that butchered everything. Yeah. And then this one episode is like, no, we're still 85% true to the main story. Right. So far. And I will never really poke holes in the way a writer wants to take a story. I will poke holes at the way it's told. I thought this of the Star Wars prequels. I didn't think the story was all that bad. It's a political drama. It was 24 laid out through three episodes. Yeah. But the dialogue delivery was clunky, and the way they told the story and the way they got from one objective to the other was clunky. I thought that a lot with Voyager. I thought the dialogue on Voyager was a little bit clunky at times. And there was no character progression inside of Voyager. And so here you have 7 of 9 who's been cut off from the collective and whatnot, and she's having to deal with these thoughts. And the one person she connects with is the holographic doctor. Yeah.
It's a holographic doctor.
And Harry Kim is still an ensign 6 years later. What the bloody hell?
So I prepped for watching Picard and had to go through all of TNG and DS9 and the TNG movies. Yeah. And they actually do explain multiple times why Harry cannot be it has to stay an ensign. And it was, which I didn't catch till our bantering on this show so many times.
I'm curious because I haven't heard this.
Is actually because there are so many ranks on that ship that you can't have so many different ranks. You have to stay.
I had not considered the naval aspect of that, and you're absolutely right.
And so that's why. But I then thought, technically,
Tom got demoted.
So
why wasn't Harry promoted?
Yes. Well, who knows? But Harry did mess up a lot. Every one of his episodes, he ends up messing up.
That's true.
And Tom,
he almost blew it up like 4 times and succeeded at least twice.
Yeah, and Tom did it.
Right.
And so that's maybe why.
That's true. I'll give you the
Tom had the idea of the flyer. Yeah. Tom had,
But I felt clunky storytelling a little bit with TNG as well.
Well, it was old.
Well, and it's an older series, and it's harder to judge it with the same magnifying glass. Yeah. But you look at the character of Picard, and I'm not saying Picard didn't evolve in the 7 years from Farpoint to the Final Judgment with Q. What I'm saying is that Picard was assimilated into the Borg collective and then ripped away. And when you talk about things like that, when you talk about him going to the Nexus and Guinan explaining, you were transported off, ripped. I was pulled away from the Nexus. And you can see that that's something that deeply affected her character. Picard was tortured by Cardassians for a month.
Oh, yeah.
There are 4 lights. He was assimilated by the Borg for 3 weeks and left for dead by his crew. Yeah. He was this, he was that. And the next week, he's fine.
Yeah, I know.
And he had no lasting effects.
Technically, it was next week, but there was a date difference. But usually it was like a month. Right. In Star Trek time, it was only about a month in time. Right. Yeah.
But they left like all of this good story and just like, oh yeah, he's human again.
Well, I mean, it's an older version. They kind of did hit it on the movies though, like with First Contact.
He had the dreams.
He has the dreams that still haunts him to the day.
Right, and they used it for a plot point a couple of times. With Lore taking over as leader of that Borg, that renegade Borg group and whatnot, and Picard is trying to command the Borg to tell him as who Locutus. He is, and he goes, "I am Locutus of Borg, and you will answer me." Yeah, and so they did try to use it then, but it was just a plot device. It wasn't like a deep thing within him. Yeah, he was like, "Oh yeah, I was Borg once."
I don't think that type of storytelling was really prominent back in the 80s,
No, and it totally
early
was.
90s.
It totally was.
I mean,
like I said, DS9 was one of the first that pioneered.
It pioneered it, and even then, sometimes it was like hit and miss.
Sometimes it was still, O'Brien is the reverend god over a local planet.
Oh my gosh.
Controlling the weather with Bashir.
That was a horror. I mean, there's...
I'm not saying they were perfect.
Yeah, no, every series...
But I'm saying DS9 definitely evolved in the storytelling.
Every series
and,
has
and the
one of
episode-by-episode progression of characters.
Yeah. So, but still, this one
But
really...
TNG got to season 7 to Beverly Ghost Sex.
Ghost.
So it's like, I'm giving DS9 the nod again. But,
yeah, DS9 had a whole hey, we killed the character off, let's just replace her with this other younger version.
This younger, hotter version who happened to be on the same shuttlecraft.
Yeah.
Oh, and she's going to be stationed here now.
Yeah, he's going to be stationed here. And let's do 4 episodes for her character development. Yeah.
In season 7.
And then let's have her do it with Worf.
Right. Just for the fun of it.
Yeah, just for the fun of it.
Right.
That'll help everyone like the show. Yeah.
I can't even say what I want to say, but is there any bigger in the galaxy than Worf?
Riker.
I think you missed the word I was going to say.
No. I got it because, again, you got to understand that Diana went
to Worf,
and then Riker's like,
right.
You still got it.
Once you go Klingon, the only other solution is Riker.
That's right.
Do you think you could handle them? One or both? Anyway.
Oh, that's a good line. Yeah, I forgot about that.
That's right.
That works. That totally works in this
right. That's right.
All right.
So Big Spoon was saying, why are you talking Trek? And then he goes, I take it all back. Let's talk about The Wire now. Anyway, do we have anything else to say? All you have is Keurig. Do we have anything else about episode 1 of Picard? Obviously, it ends with the reveal of the Romulan vessel, or the Romulan relocation reclamation site.
It has to do something with a Borg ship. We don't know if that's a new Borg ship. Did the Romulans build that Borg? Is it some form of a Romulan clone Borg ship? Is it the Borg ship from Wolf
359? That's my guess, because in all of Star Trek canon, that's kind of the one that's not told how it ended.
I don't think so. I wouldn't be surprised if it's going to be more of the Borg aren't as strong as they used to be after Voyager.
After 8472.
Yeah. And Voyager came back with technology to basically defeat the Borg.
Right.
And they pose not as big of a threat as they used to.
Right.
Anymore.
Yeah.
That's my personal theory. And I'm betting this cube is something else. Yeah, all in general. And also on top of that, we know that Hugh, again, a character in TNG, one of the first Borgs to have his sentient individuality
restored.
Right. And cause havoc amongst the Borg. I'm wondering if that little hodgepodge of group of people expanded, and that's if they maybe even migrated.
Right.
Toward we're trying to find refugee, a sanctuary.
Sure. Totally.
A type of thing. And they met up with the Romulans and they made a pact with the Romulans.
And it totally could, because if you remember in Voyager, the Borg were running scared.
Yeah.
They were not the big bad guys. They were running scared from species 8472. Yep. And then when they picked up 7 of 9, they collaborated on a weapon that could literally one-shot both 8472 and the Borg themselves.
Yeah.
Here's a torpedo laced with nanoprobes. Oh, all of a sudden, you're dead.
Yep, exactly.
No ifs, ands, buts.
So, the other thing, too, I don't know if they're going to do it, and if they do, please treat it well. Who's commanding the Enterprise right now? And if there is E, or is it F?
It's probably going to be F.
It probably will be F?
It's probably going to be F.
Well, I don't. Some people were saying that...
Remember, they're 7-year missions.
Yeah, technically, but Enterprise... and Enterprise A were 20, 30 years, and B lasted 40, 50 years. So, why? And the only reason D...
But they're only made the flagship for about 7 to 10 years at a time.
True. But
and so E was the Federation flagship again, and it was the brand new ship, and that was 17 years ago.
So, but it still could be in commission.
Right.
But...
Yeah, Enterprise F may still be in commission, but it's not going to be the Federation flagship anymore. might be G.
Well, technically, so it's stated they came out with these comic books to tell the story of the evacuation, and it stated that Picard left the Enterprise.
Yeah.
So, but they didn't say which Enterprise. They just said the Enterprise. So technically, he could have been captain of 3, could have been captain of just E, and then E wasn't the flagship anymore.
Right.
Could have been, some other ship, whatever. Or maybe they gave him. The other quick thing is his storage room.
Yes.
All the little nods.
We'll end on this one.
All the little nods in the storage room.
Yes.
Were fantastic. That's where we saw the Captain Picard's Day.
Captain Picard Day banner.
We saw a bunch of models of all of his ships. The original Stargazer model that was in his office is sitting on the right-hand corner. 2 models of both Enterprises are hanging on the wall.
Yep.
The Captain's Yacht, which was a stupid thing, but it was still there.
It's still there. There was a batleth and a dock tang there. That there was a bunch of original equipment that was there. It was full of Easter eggs in that particular room. But they actually talked about this a little bit in the Ready Room with Will Wheaton. Talking about the Captain Picard Day banner, why was it there? And they said, we specifically wanted that banner there because if you remember back in that episode, he hated that day.
Yeah.
He didn't want recognition. He didn't want anything for doing his job. He just wanted the day to be over and let's move on. We have a job to do and let's go do it. They said the reason they put it in his storage locker was because he's looking back and going, maybe I should have appreciated the things that I had back then.
Yeah.
Maybe I should have slowed down a little bit. Maybe I should have done this. Maybe I should have done that. And so for him, it was a remembrance of, stop skipping the little things to get to the big goals. Maybe just enjoy the little things.
Take a breath and enjoy the view around you.
Right, exactly. So, you guys like the Starfleet server room?
Where as he's walking through.
Oh yeah.
With the new hologram.
Yeah.
Which I found interesting because that hologram seems so out of date compared to older ones.
It did because you have to take in mind, number one, they have the technology to basically recreate data. They said as much that we could do that at this point in time. You have the EMH and LMH programs, the emergency medical hologram and long-term medical holograms, which is canon as of DS9.
Yeah.
Picardo was experimenting with a long-term medical hologram using Bashir as a model.
Yeah.
And so we know that these long-term informational holograms should exist with confirmation or conversational dialogue. And why we got the iRobot, my responses are limited. You must ask the right question.
Yeah.
Why did we get that hologram?
Yeah, exactly.
As the librarian.
That was horrible. I didn't mind the character. I didn't mind the whole my eyes, do the whole I'm doing the Matrix things in my eyes. Yeah. I didn't mind that part.
Yeah.
But the fact of I'm limited by this. Give me a second. Blah, blah. There was no interaction. There was not. It didn't feel like make her feel like a librarian.
Yes. Yeah.
So it would have been better as a surprise because I kind of thought, is that an android? What's going on here? It would have been better to be a cool reveal of if Picard was talking to a friend and we're like, who is that?
Yeah.
And it just ends up being a hologram. Yeah. So we can end on, what did you think of that?
Yeah, I was going to transition into this. It's definitely an IPA. It's definitely got a couple different hops in it. It's this weird middle body. And by the way, I didn't watch your review intentionally because I knew you were probably bringing this tonight.
So they state that there's peach, papaya, and passion fruit. Do you get that?
Maybe the passion fruit, but nothing else.
Okay,
maybe.
I got peach.
Yeah, I'm not getting peach.
I got overly ripe peach, kind of that.
See, I'm smelling I want to say Amarillo hops.
It's Galaxy actually.
Okay, yeah.
Hence the name.
Okay. Yeah, I'm smelling not a typical hop.
You know what's so funny is in the video too, and I was proud of myself for this, is I actually named a malt that they used in this, and I looked it up, and I was like, oh yeah, because they used a Vienna lager style malt.
Okay.
Actually,
yeah, you're right.
And
you're totally right.
I picked it out, and then I looked it up, and I was like, oh, they did. And
you're totally right.
I posted my video, and then I looked it up, so I was like, I was giving myself so much high five.
What's really funny is as you were saying that, I'm remembering back to you brought a Vienna lager on maybe about 8 months ago.
Yeah.
And I'm going, it kind of tastes like that.
No, it was a Christmas, but yeah.
Yeah.
2 months ago.
Time
Whatever.
flies.
Yeah, I know. So many videos.
In a previous video, he brought a Vienna lager in, and it kind of tasted like sausage, but that's totally what it is.
Yeah. It's this weird body, and it's like, okay, yeah. But yeah, it's like
it's an IPA up front. It's this weird middle body that's not malty. It's not fruity. It's not sour. It's not dank. It's not sweet. It's not this. It's not that. I don't know what to call the middle of this beer.
And that's what I stated. I almost said, it's kind of like cardboard.
Yeah. It's just kind of there.
It is.
And then it ends with a little bit of hot bitterness, and you're going, okay, it's an IPA. It's definitely an IPA. You know, I've got a little bit of that oil on my tongue. It's kind of that.
Yeah.
But the middle of this is just weird.
I said this is kind of a beer dissector's dream, but it's nothing for like the entry level person. You know, that's kind of what my conclusion is. Like, hey, if you like dissecting beers, this is probably going to be great for you.
Yeah.
Entry level people, maybe not. Don't start here.
What's funny is now that you said Vienna malt, that's all I can taste.
Oh yeah, no. As soon as
all I can taste.
Oh yeah, it's there.
But I'm not getting any of the fruits you mentioned. Like I said, maybe a passion fruit, but ever so slightly right up front, and then it's gone.
I complained about the same thing of like I didn't get half the fruits that did it. The peach was like, it's so hard. I had to dig for it.
And even then, like I'm all the way in there. I'm not getting peach. I'm not getting guava. I'm not getting passion fruit on the nose. That's for darn sure. I'm getting a kind of sour, danky hop.
Yeah, it coats your tongue a lot.
It really does.
But it's not bittering. And I said it kind of tastes more like the peach pit. Like the pit of it, like the seed, if you're sucking on that. But I think
that's... apricot pit, maybe?
Yes.
Yeah.
I said apricot. I said apricot.
I swear I didn't watch your video.
No, yeah. So that's...
No, I'm getting more apricot if you had to call it anything.
Yeah, no, that's exactly what I say. It's so funny.
That's amazing.
So, yeah.
Great minds, huh?
That's right.
Yeah. Yeah.
But not bad.
It's a good IPA.
Yeah.
But it's just weird. It misses in a couple ways, but I can't say that it. Well, let me back that up. It hits in a couple ways, but I can't say that it really misses all that much. But at the same time, I'm kind of left going, eh.
I swear you're verbatim saying my video.
Like there's a couple of good things going on in here. I really like the way it leaves. I like the hop taste that's left at the end of it. The up front, I'm digging for those flavors, and those aren't what I'm pulling out. There's something else that's there that's kind of souring that whole experience. And like you said, it's like, yeah, it's a fruit, but it's like the pit of the fruit. It's like I'm chewing on sawdust kind of thing. And then the middle, what the hell is that? And then the end, you're like, oh, little Amarillo, little...
Something with Galaxy is like, there's some dinkiness on my tongue.
There's a little dinkiness.
I know there's hop here.
Right. And so what I'm left with is a kind of pleasant IPA taste, but getting there is a little weird.
Yeah. That's basically verbatim. So I'm also wearing the t-shirt you gave me, the Romulan Ale t-shirt. It was the first time I wore it.
Awesome.
So I was like, I need a shirt to wear. I was like, hey, this is
I've bought like 6 shirts off of Wish.com, and you ended up with 5 of them.
And I still wear that.
Because I'm like, oh, let me try the extra large, because I'm a pretty big guy, and Chinese sizes run small. Dang it, this might fit John. Yep. Here you go. And it's like, let me try the 2X. God dang it.
Just wash it once. Hey, it fits it perfectly.
Right, exactly. So...
All right.
Anyway, that's going to do it for episode 117 here on Talking Heads. Thank you guys so much for sticking with us for so long. I know we're at about 10:18, so we've been going for 2 hours and 18 minutes now. But I hope you enjoyed the show. Make sure to like this video and subscribe to Craft Computing if you haven't done so already. Links are also down to Hops and Brew's channel. Make sure to go subscribe to him if you like the beer content that's here, because he is all about beer reviews and hopefully about brewing me some beer here before too long.
Hopefully.
Make sure to follow the links down to the Patreon down in the video description. $1 minimum donation per episode, and you can set whatever max you would like. But $1 per month gets you access to my exclusive Discord server. You can chat with me, John, Steve, Rhett. There's a pretty good community forming over there.
There's a great community. I'm part of a couple other communities, and this is the most active and probably the best one.
I don't just say that, and I hear that a lot.
It is. It's
Because I'm on a couple other Discords as well. Some really weird niche Discords that I like following, like development stuff on and whatnot. And then my Discord is by far the most active. There's always someone online. There's always discussions going on. We have close to a dozen different rooms, and it's everything from, let's talk about the computers and talk about the latest video, to what food and alcohol are you having today?
Yeah.
What car are you driving? What mods did you do to your car?
What TV show, movie have you watched or got announced?
Right.
Yeah.
There's a music discussion. There's a networking only room. For talking about enterprise level networking. It's a really great place to get advice, to be part of the community, and it's a fantastic place to be. Minimum donation $1 a month. Obviously, I would absolutely appreciate more. And there might be some further bonuses coming on as the year progresses. I'm trying to figure out, some $5 and $10 donation viewers. What can I give them as a little added bonus? Kind of thing.
So get in the works first so that you can hear those announcements.
Right. So, and if you have any ideas, I am totally all ears. Early access probably won't be part of it because my schedule just doesn't allow for it. But if you have ideas for how to incentivize you to give it a little bit more, I'm all ears as far as what I can do. Anyway, that is going to do it for this video. Thank you guys so much for watching as always. $2 Bite My Bits is best. Where's the ban button?
Yeah.
Where's the ban button? It's in there, so I'll get to it later.
Isn't he sick all the time?
He's always sick.
Yeah.
Drinks really weird beer, if you can even call it that. Yeah. It's all that rice he eats.
Yep.
Yeah.
Drinks more like it.
Anyway, see you guys later.
See you guys.